Divine Comprehension, a dimensional journey begins in Douluo. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 201, Kikuza is targeted by Mobius. Continuing from the last chapter, as for Kikuza, he can actually walk under the sun. Is it because he has eliminated the side effects of being a ghost after his martial soul awakened? Or has his body mutated in the process of traveling through the world? Wu-Tong looked ahead at the figure of Kikuza walking leisurely under the sun and the tattoo that disappeared from his body. If Wu-Tong didn't know that this guy was Kikuza, he really wouldn't dare to confirm it. After all, the changes in this guy are too great. After all, the evil ghosts in the Demon Slayer world, like the vampires in Western mythology, cannot walk under the sun. They can only travel through the world in the dark night. They are pure nocturnal creatures. Once they come into contact with the sun, they will be burned to ashes by the sun. Forget it, what's it to me? After taking the world coordinates from him, I'll give it to Mobius and the others as a test subject. I'm sure they'll be happy to see this test subject who almost never dies, and with the crimes he committed, it's not too much for him to die 800 times. Now he's just being a test subject, which can be said to be a bargain for him. A little white mouse that almost never dies? Then what? Among the group of people opposite, which one is the little white mouse you are talking about? Mobius' voice suddenly sounded in Wu-Tong's ears. The voice was slightly distorted, and it contained an unconcealable excitement. Did I say what I was thinking? Hearing the voice of Mobius, Wu-Tong lowered his head and saw the green-haired female ghost in front of him. He was stunned and his eyes moved to the people on the side. Everyone looked at Wu-Tong's eyes and nodded immediately, confirming his thoughts. After getting a definite reply, Wu-Tong suddenly felt the shame of wanting to dig out a 3-bedroom apartment with his toes. Where did I start to say it? The one about the surprise. Don't change the subject. Tell me, which one of the people on the opposite side is my dear little white mouse? Mobius answered casually, and then stared at Wu-Tong. Almost never die? Is it lifespan, time, or recovery ability? These are all possible. What aspect did Wu-Tong mean by never dying? But no matter which aspect it is, it seems to be of great help to my research. It's really exciting. It seems that the decision to follow Wu-Tong to this world is indeed correct. It hasn't been long since he found something that interests me. In this way, my dream of pursuing infinity does not seem to be impossible to achieve. Looking at Mobius's fanatical eyes, Wu-Tong also expressed his understanding. After all, anyone who knows Mobius knows her pursuit of infinity. Although ghosts cannot be said to be immortal, they definitely have a strong immortality. With this ability, it seems that it is not surprising to be targeted by Mobius. After coming to his senses, Wu-Tong gestured to Mobius and said, "No, the boy with short pink hair, golden pupils and a thin face is your target, but don't worry, I need to take something from him, and then he will be handed over to you." Then, Wu-Tong turned his gaze to the direction of Alicia and others, looked into their eyes and said, "Don't worry, this guy is not a good person. His race needs to feed on humans. He has killed countless people. It is not too much to die 100 times. Death row prisoners are more humane than him, so there is no need to feel sad for him." Hearing this, the eyes of Alicia and others gradually became firm. "Let's go quickly, I can't wait to see my little white mouse." After Wu-Tong finished speaking, Mobius couldn't help but want to set off. Seeing this, Wu-Tong didn't plan to continue watching the show. Since the treasures like stowaways have come out, they can't let them run away. Although this group of people can't run away, it's better to be cautious for the sake of safety. Well, if that's the case, let's go and see the 2 stowaways who stowed into our world. After saying that, Wu-Tong put away the soul guide that concealed everyone's figures, and led the group to the direction of Shrek and the snake grandma and grandson. At this moment, Shrek and his group, who were confronting the snake grandma, obviously didn't know what Wu-Tong was thinking, and didn't know that one of them had been targeted by Wu-Tong. The 2 groups were still in a tense confrontation, both wanting to get the soul ring of the phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake on the ground. "Brother Zhao, now that it's clear, can you return this phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake to us?" Zhao Xiangxiang spoke first, asking Zhao Wuji and others for the phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake, and showed evidence that he had injured the soul beast. But he never thought that Zhao Wuji, a barbarian, would not buy Zhao Xiangxiang's tricks at all. At this moment, Facing Zhao Xiangxiang's request, Zhao Wuji slowly said, "Senior Snake Lady, this matter may be a little difficult to handle." Zhao Xiangxiang frowned, stared at Zhao Wuji and said, "Brother Zhao, in that case, you don't want to return this phoenix-tail coxcomb snake to our grandparents and grandchildren." Meng Yiren, who was standing next to Zhao Xiangxiang, couldn't help but said, "What's so difficult about this? We were the first to discover this 4,000-year-old phoenix-tail coxcomb snake. If we hadn't injured it, would you have been able to get it so easily? Return it to us quickly, or don't blame me for being rude to you." As she spoke, she had already raised the snakehead crutch in her hand. Before Zhao Wuji could speak, Mo Hongjin on the side spoke first. "Miss, what you said is not right. In this zinged-out great forest, all soul beasts are ownerless. Perhaps, this 1,000-year-old phoenix-tailed cockroach snake was really discovered by you first and injured, but it was us who caught it in the end. You insist on saying that it is yours, which is probably not fair. Although it is more suitable for you, it is also very suitable for one of my brothers. This relatively gentle soul beast is also of great help to my brother's martial spirit." When Meng Yiren heard Ma Hongjin's shameless words, his face instantly turned cold. "You are really thick-skinned, you can even say such words. This phoenix-tailed cockroach snake is at least 4,000 years old. You want to swallow it, you are not afraid of breaking your teeth. Moreover, no matter how suitable you are for this soul beast, can you be more suitable than my martial spirit snake staff? I don't believe that your martial spirit is also related to snakes." "That's right, this phoenix-tailed cockroach snake is at least 4,000 years old." Chapter 202 Check-in in the Star Forest plot. Du Bo is unhappy. Since Wu Tong announced his theory, the development of the Soul Master system has been rising rapidly. The emergence of the theory of martial soul evolution and the factors affecting the age of soul rings has given the new generation of young soul masters a better development prospect. After knowing the factors affecting the age of soul rings, those big forces will definitely not miss this opportunity. Therefore, all kinds of medicinal baths, whale glue, exercise equipment, as well as soul forging methods and spirit-raising liquids that can enhance physical fitness and improve mental strength without damaging potential were all arranged for their children, hoping that their children would have a better future. It is also because of this that the age of soul rings of the current young generation is all greatly improved. For example, Meng Yiren, who is now at level 30, plans to absorb a 4,000-year soul ring. According to the previous Soul Master system, soul rings of this age can only be absorbed at level 40. But now it is very different, which shows how much influence Wu Tong's theory has on the Soul Master world. Therefore, it is not incomprehensible that he is respected. What people didn't expect was that the age of the soul beast changed, but the plot remained the same, which made people want to sigh at the wonder of fate. At this moment, facing Meng Yiren's cold words, Ma Hongjin still smiled and said, "That's really unfortunate. Although it's not as compatible as your snake staff, my brother's martial spirit is indeed very suitable for this soul ring, because he is a food-type soul master. As for the 4,000-year soul ring, it can also be absorbed. After all, my brother's physical fitness is not bad." Hearing Ma Hongjin's words, Meng Yiren's face suddenly became extremely ugly, because food-type soul masters can really absorb the soul ring of the phoenix-tail coxcomb snake. As for the degree of compatibility, food-type soul masters and any soul beast have a high degree of compatibility. In addition, the physical fitness is enough to resist the impact of soul power. At this point, Shrek's people are really suitable for this soul ring. Shrek's group, except Zhu's Huking and Nami, saw Meng Yiren's ugly face, but they were excited. Because in this case, Meng Yiren would not be able to use the excuse of being unsuitable to force Shrek's people to give up the phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake. Zhao Xiangxiang, who was standing aside, also had an unpleasant look on her face at this time. Brother Zhao's student is really eloquent. Zhao Wuji smiled slightly and said, No, I think what Hongjin said makes some sense. What do you think, senior snake woman?" Zhao Xiangxiang was almost laughing when she heard what Zhao Wuji said, but she changed her mind and thought that her husband was not around. For the safety of her precious granddaughter, she could not go to war with this group of people. Therefore, Zhao Xiangxiang stood where he was, trying hard to control the anger in his heart, and said with a fake smile, "HMPH, I don't deserve the title of senior. Aquila has thought it through. Do you really want to go to war with my husband and me for a 1,000-year-old soul beast?" When Zhao Wuji heard this, he felt a sense of fear in his heart. It was unwise to fall out with Longgong and Snakebo for a soul beast. But before Zhao Wuji could continue thinking, Mo Hongjin spoke again. Old man, don't take it too seriously. It's better to give this sentence to you. Are you going to make things difficult for our Shrek Academy, 4,000-year-old soul beast? You should know that we have 3 soul saints in Shrek Academy, and the rest of the teachers are soul emperors. You'd better think it over. You, a soul emperor, dare to talk to us like this. You are simply not appreciative. When Zhao Wuji heard this, he immediately wanted to slap Ma Hongjin to death. Is this bastard trying to attract hatred for him? Pa, so Zhao Wuji didn't hesitate and slapped him directly. You kid, please be polite. Senior Snake Woman's husband, Senior Longgong, is a soul Douluo. The martial soul fusion skills of these two can fight against title Douluo. Why don't you apologize quickly? Hearing this, Mo Hongjin was originally wronged by being slapped, but he also suppressed his grievance. He was a little reckless, but he was not a fool. Soul Douluo, they couldn't afford to offend now, let alone a soul Douluo with the combat power of title Douluo, even if the combat power of title Douluo was yet to be verified. Senior Snake Woman, Hongjin didn't mean that just when Zhao Wuji wanted to continue to smooth things over and defend Ma Hongjin, Zhao Xiangxiang spoke. Okay, now that we've come to this, there's nothing more to explain. Since both sides can't reach an agreement, let's follow the rules of the Soul Master world and let the 2 juniors decide who owns the Soul Ring. How about that? Zhao Xiangxiang interrupted Zhao Wuji without waiting for him to explain clearly. Zhao Wuji was about to speak when he heard this, but his face suddenly changed. Zhao Xiangxiang seemed to have sensed something, and his expression also changed. Both of them looked in the same direction with a serious look. It seemed that there was some kind of monstrous beast there. Who? I don't know which senior you are. I'm Zhao Wuji from Shrek Academy. Please give me some face. Hearing what the two said, Meng Yiren and the Shrek group also looked at the place where the two were looking with a nervous look. There, in the deep forest, it seemed that several figures flashed. Rustle, accompanied by a sound that was not sure whether it was the wind blowing the leaves or the sound of footsteps stepping on the fallen leaves. Soon, accompanied by a burst of voices coming from far away, Wu Tong and his group also appeared in front of the 2 teams one by one. Huh? As soon as he appeared, Douluo looked at the vigilant eyes of Zhao Xiangxiang and Zhao Wuji and felt offended. With his own strength and status, that soul master was not respectful when he saw him. What's wrong with your eyes? Damn, I have suffered enough grievances these days. Kevin is fine, but who do you think you are? How dare you look at me like that? Yesterday, Douluo was beaten up by Kevin's puppet. Although he said he was not angry, it was just that he couldn't beat him. His anger had not yet subsided and he had been holding it in his heart. Now seeing the eyes of Zhao Xiangxiang and Zhao Wuji again, the fire in Douluo's heart was like a bomb with a lit fuse. He could no longer suppress it and burst out directly. Kevin is fine, but you two dare to look at me like that. This made Douluo immediately unhappy. A soul emperor and a soul sage, how dare you offend the title Douluo like that? If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 203, Reunion after 6 years, Shrek and others' thoughts? I'm really sorry, dear readers. I went to help my parents pick apples yesterday. I was so tired that I went to bed early, so I forgot to update. Please forgive me. Saurui, HMPH, so Douluo did not suppress his dissatisfaction, but snorted coldly, and the powerful aura that only belongs to the title Douluo burst out. This aura instantly swept the whole audience, causing Zhao Xiangxiang and Zhao Wuji to sweat coldly. This aura is the title Douluo. After Zhao Xiangxiang and Zhao Wuji looked at each other, they saw the horror in each other's eyes. After Douluo's martial soul transformed, his appearance also changed. In addition, he has been busy with Wu Tong's affairs during this period of time and has not been out for a long time, so many people don't know that Douluo's appearance has changed. Most of the people who know Douluo's current appearance are high-level people from major forces. Since Wu Tong's theory was proposed, more soul masters have broken through to the realm of title Douluo. Although not many, it is definitely not a small number. Since then, the figure of the title Douluo walking on the Douluo Continent has gradually ceased to be a legend. Many high-level spirit masters have seen the figure of the title Douluo more or less. As high-level spirit masters, Zhao Xiangxiang and Zhao Wuji have seen the demeanor of some title Douluo. After experiencing this momentum, they naturally recognize Du Gubo's identity at a glance. After feeling Du Gubo's momentum, the two did not dare to act rashly. After all, facing a title Douluo, if you are not careful, it would be a waste of death. You know, the title Douluo is the top person in the Douluo world. In addition to Zhao Wuji and Zhao Xiangxiang, there is another person, who also felt Du Gubo's strength. Xiao Wu felt this momentum and was shocked. She quickly began to move her feet quietly. She tried to shrink behind the Shrek people, trying to reduce her presence. Hey, long time no see, little rabbit, I didn't pay attention to Du Gubo's temper. Wu Tong looked at the alert people in front of him, chuckled, and greeted Xiao Wu who had just appeared behind them. Well, pretending to be an ostrich really doesn't work. Xiao Wu's subtle movements were instantly discovered by the people who turned their eyes to her. Seeing everyone's eyes looking at her, Xiao Wu forced a stiff smile at the corner of her mouth. She knew she couldn't hide. It's over, Mom. Xiao Wu was targeted by the title Douluo today, and there is no way to revenge you. And third brother, I'm sorry, Xiao Wu is leaving you. Just when Xiao Wu was thinking about how Wu Tong would kill her, obtain her spirit ring, and absorb her spirit bone. Suddenly hearing Wu Tong's greeting, Xiao Wu was stunned. What's going on? She really didn't expect that at this critical moment, Wu Tong didn't kill her directly, but greeted her instead. It sounds like the man in front of her is very familiar to her. Don't they know each other? You are. Xiao Wu looked at the handsome man in front of her, who was handsome, outstanding, and tall, and asked a question in her heart. Huh? Don't you remember me? Oh, that's right, after all, it's been 6 years since we last met. I've changed a lot. Hearing Xiao Wu's words, Wu Tong was stunned for a moment, and then reacted. She had been paying attention to these two people. But they didn't pay attention to her all the time. 6 years have passed. And her appearance and momentum have changed dramatically during this period, so it's normal that she didn't recognize her. Then I'll give you a hint. The Great Turmoil 6 years ago, the original number 7 dormitory of Not in College, and the boy who disappeared after that day, Du Gubo, who had been staring at Xiao Wu since she appeared, was speechless. This can be said to be a clear indication. You were Wu Tong in the number 7 dormitory 6 years ago? Hearing Wu Tong's hint, combined with what happened in Not in College 6 years ago, Xiao Wu immediately recognized Wu Tong. You know, that turmoil made it impossible for her to stay in Notting City for a long time. Do you know how exciting it is for a transformed soul beast to see more than a dozen title Douluo appear in a small city at the same time to look for someone? Obviously, she was looking for small cities in order not to attract attention, but she was almost discovered. It is precisely because of this that Xiao Wu immediately thought of Wu Tong, the culprit who caused everything. Hearing Xiao Wu's words, everyone on the side had different thoughts in their minds, but without exception, the name Wu Tong caused a commotion in everyone's hearts. This handsome guy turned out to be the legendary Mr. Wu Tong. He's as handsome and unrestrained as the rumors say. I didn't expect to see Mr. Wu Tong's demeanor this time. It's great. This time I came to the starred out Great Forest for the right time. This is the thought of Wu Tong's little fan Meng Yiren. This is the so-called first wise man on the continent. It's nothing special. He's not as handsome as me. This is the thought of the evil firegrass chicken Ma Hongjin. Mr. Wu Tong? If I have his help, can I beat my elder brother? This is the thought of the third Prince Daimube who escaped. Is this the so-called strongest scholar? He is really weak and looks vulnerable. I don't know why the dean and teachers now respect this guy so much. They are obviously much stronger than this guy. This is the thought of Kiwoza, who only fanatically pursues power. Is this the legendary Wu Tong? A wise man like Vegapunk in our world? I don't know if he can send me back. Nikigo, Aegean, I miss you all. This is the thought of Nami, a stowaway from another world. Mr. Wu Tong, you are so young. I heard from Rongrong recently that many big forces want to please him now. It is said that even the Xingluo royal family is the same. If I can get his help, can I get rid of that endless fate? This is the thought of Zhu Xiuqing, who is eager to eliminate her own fate. You are right, it's me. Seeing that he was recognized, Wu Tong did not care about the commotion of others, but smiled and confirmed Xiao Wu's words. We meet again. Come to think of it, I haven't seen you for 6 years. Yes, It's been 6 years. I still remember how you studied hard back then. No wonder you have achieved such great success now. Chapter 204 Xiao Wu's true identity revealed. Hearing Wu Tong's words, Xiao Wu pulled the corners of her mouth and forced herself to smile, then said to Wu Tong. She wanted to build on her old friendship and let Wu Tong let her go for the sake of their past friendship. But Xiao Wu forgot that their relationship was not that good. Because of Tang San, the two of them had almost no intersection. Without intersection, there would naturally be no friendship. In this way, the possibility that Wu Tong might let Xiao Wu go was almost negligible. After all, who would let go of a 100,000-year spirit ring and spirit bone that was within reach? However, even if the possibility was even weaker, Xiao Wu wanted to try it. After all, she didn't want to die yet. She hadn't avenged her mother yet, and hadn't expressed her feelings to her third brother yet. She still had a lot of things she hadn't done in time. Thinking about it, Xiao Wu even forgot that there was someone beside her, and tears unconsciously fell from the corners of her eyes. The other Shrek people saw Xiao Wu suddenly burst into tears and realized something. It seems that the relationship between these two people is not very good, but thinking of Xiao Wu's arrogant and domineering personality, everyone is not surprised. This kind of personality is indeed easy to offend people. It seems that Xiao Wu has offended Wu Tong before. And looking at Xiao Wu's inexplicable regret, it seems that the offense is not light. Hey, why do you offend him when you have nothing to do? Isn't this just to make yourself unhappy? Now you know you regret it? It's too late. Everyone just watched this scene coldly and didn't come forward to comfort. After all, they haven't been trained by Yu Xiaogang yet, and there is not much friendship between them. It can even be said that they have only known each other for dozens of days. In short, they are just friends who only drink and eat, and have a fleeting relationship. What's more, offend Wu Tong for a little Wu. Do you think they are crazy? Nami and Zhu Xiuqing, who are also girls, also looked indifferent, and didn't rush to comfort Xiao Wu because of her pitiful appearance. Both of them have experienced the darkness and oppression of the world, and they will not release their sympathy to others casually. What's more, they are not so stupid as to offend people who might be able to help them just for the sake of an arrogant Xiao Wu. With Wu Tong's eyesight, he could easily see why Xiao Wu was crying. It was obviously because she thought she was going to die. But seeing this scene, he was really helpless. No, why are you crying? Did I say I was going to kill you? Why are you crying so hard? Your imagination is too rich. Okay, stop crying. I didn't say I was going to do anything to you. Why are you crying? Are you telling the truth? Xiao Wu heard Wu Tong's words and hurriedly raised her delicate little face that was stirred by tears, looking at Wu Tong with some disbelief. It's true, looking at the tear marks on Xiao Wu's face and the embarrassed posture, Wu Tong couldn't help but feel speechless. Am I that scary? But as the price of letting you go, you have to tell me where Tang San went? Why is he not in your academy team? Looking at Xiao Wu, who was relieved, Wu Tong showed his fangs in an instant. You want the whereabouts of the third brother? What do you want to do with the third brother? Hearing Wu Tong's question, Xiao Wu did not agree immediately, but asked with some caution. After all, she knew that Tang San and Wu Tong did not have a good relationship. Of course there is something. I'm looking for him to kill him. Wu Tong smiled and said the coldest words in the gentlest tone. There was no warmth in his indifferent eyes. Hearing Wu Tong's words, Xiao Wu immediately thought that Wu Tong should be joking. After all, in Xiao Wu's opinion, even if the relationship between Tang San and Wu Tong was not good, it would not rise to the level of killing. What? You want to kill the third brother? Are you kidding? Who is kidding you? I really planned to kill Tang San. Wu Tong's eyes did not change at all, and deep in his eyes, there was indifference. This is not a joke. Wu Tong originally planned to kill Tang San, but not today. As for why he said it directly, it was of course because he wanted to see Xiao Wu's expression after she knew that she was abandoned. Moreover, Wu Tong also found an excuse to get Qiaza and Nami over. It would be just right to use Xiao Wu as the starting point. At the same time, using Xiao Wu as the starting point, he could also use Tang San's escape to belittle Tang San. Why not? Thinking of this, Wu Tong straightened his spine. Let's see how I point fingers from the moral high ground JPG. Why? Just because you didn't have a good relationship before, you want to kill Brother San? Xiao Wu was immediately frightened. She could hear from Wu Tong's words that Wu Tong was not joking, but really intended to kill Tang San. Wu Tong shrugged and said, "Why? Because I killed his whole family. In order to prevent him from seeking revenge in the future, I had to strike first." "What? You actually killed the third brother's family?" Hearing Wu Tong's words, Xiao Wu seemed to remember something. Her eyes suddenly turned red, and she questioned Wu Tong, "Isn't it enough that you killed the third brother's family? Why did you kill the third brother?" After questioning, Xiao Wu, who was affected by the love brain and the resonance of her life experience, did not wait for Wu Tong to reply. She shouted at Wu Tong in a decisive manner, "I can't tell you the news about the third brother, so just give up this idea." Looking at Xiao Wu's love brain attack, Wu Tong was a little speechless. This Douluo continent is really worthy of being a love continent. For love, even your life is gone. Wu Tong looked at Xiao Wu with a look of looking at a fool. "You should find a good time to have a seizure, okay? Don't you see what kind of occasion it is? Your life is in my hands. You are walking on a tightrope. How dare you talk to me like that? Did I give you face, Wu Tong? I don't want my life." Xiao Wu, "No. Wu Tong, that's awesome." The others also looked at Xiao Wu in shock, because they really didn't expect this guy to be so brave. Who do you think you are? You are just a transformed soul beast, and you dare to talk to a little monster in such a tone. Douluo on the side spoke directly. This little rabbit really didn't know what was good for him. He gave you a chance to survive, but now he doesn't cherish it. For the so-called love, he gave up the hope of survival. He was really ignorant. Chapter 205, Shrek's Double Standards, Kiwazuo who can't figure out his own. Continued from the previous article, in Douluo's opinion, Wu Tong can give this soul beast a chance. She should seize it, instead of resisting stubbornly here, wasting Wu Tong's time and energy. What? Xiao Wu is a 100,000-year-old transformed soul beast, XN. Hearing Douluo's words, everyone present was shocked. Ahahaha, Mr. Wu Tong, I don't know Xiao Wu very well. Yes, she just registered for the academy a month ago and is not familiar with us at all. Indeed, I was beaten twice because of this soul beast, and I get angry when I see her. I originally thought that her personality was due to her impatience, but now it seems that she is still a beast. For a moment, everyone who was originally standing in front of Xiao Wu began to avoid Xiao Wu and quickly moved away from her, fearing that Wu Tong would target her. This is not because they don't want a 100,000-year soul ring. It's because they know that they can't compete with Wu Tong at all, and they can't snatch it from Wu Tong at all, so they decided to make a sacred and just cut. After all, even if they snatched a 100,000-year soul beast, they couldn't keep it, so they might as well take this opportunity to buy Wu Tong a favor. Moreover, they couldn't afford the charge that Shrek Academy colluded with soul beasts and betrayed the human race, so they might as well quickly sever their ties with Xiao Wu. So after reacting, everyone immediately began to refute righteously. The others looked at this funny scene and had an indescribable feeling. Can we only say that it is worthy of being Shrek Academy? The instinct of bullying the weak and fearing the strong is engraved in the bones. People who are not easy to provoke are mediocre, and if you provoke a strong person, you bow and apologize, right? So double standards? Seeing that all the people in Shrek showed this face, Meng Yiren and Zhou Xiangxiang on the side also twitched their mouths, as if they were meeting this group of people for the first time. Where did your arrogance just now go? Why do you become like this when you see someone you can't afford to provoke? Among the people of Shrek, those who were originally deeply influenced by Shrek's teaching philosophy were eager to distance themselves from the relationship. However, the few people who had just enrolled for more than a month did not think so. Although Nami and Zhu Xiuqing did not have a good relationship with Xiao Wu, it was only because they were not familiar with each other. With their character, they could not do anything to add insult to injury, so they just watched the words of Shrek's group coldly. Even when Zhu Xiuqing looked at the figures of Daimyo and others, there was a touch of self-mockery and regret in her eyes. Is it really necessary to stay in this academy? In addition to these two people, Kiwazuo, who was pulled aside by others and had been pretending to be a good person and sneaking into Shrek Academy. After hearing the news from Douluo, he did not give up the idea of hunting Xiao Wu's soul ring. Because he had not been in this world for a long time, and he did not know much about the information of the Soul Master world, Kiwazuo did not actually have a specific concept of Wu Tong's identity and strength. In his opinion, since Wu Tong was called a wise man, he should be a weakling who is powerless and could not possibly be his opponent, so Kiwazuo did not take Wu Tong seriously at all. As for Kawazuo's principle of not killing women, Kawazuo could only say, "That's right. I didn't violate the principle, and Xiao is not a human." If Wu Tong knew about this, he would probably sigh. A young calf is not afraid of a tiger. It is precisely because of this honey-juiced confidence that Kawazuo's eyes now clearly reveal a feeling of restlessness. Although he has been in this world for a short time, Kawazuo has been in this world for a few months. He has already learned some knowledge about soul masters. He naturally cannot give up the dream of a 100,000-year soul beast that ranks first on the soul master dream list. You know, 100,000-year soul ring and soul bone are both super powerful forces. For Kawazuo, who has always been eager for power, this is a rare opportunity. As for not being able to absorb a 100,000-year soul ring, will the body explode and die? Kawazuo just wanted to say, it's so funny, that evil ghost would be afraid of the destruction of his body? As long as his head is not chopped off by the sun blade, he will not die. After all, strictly speaking, the weakness of evil ghosts is only the power of the sun. Even in the sun blade, if there is no mixture of gorilla iron containing the power of the sun, the evil ghosts will not be afraid at all. And now, since coming to this world and having new powers, Kawazuo feels that he has been completely completed. Now he is no longer afraid of the power of the sun. He feels that he has become the perfect creature that Muzan Kibutsuji dreamed of. With this power, he feels that he should be able to snatch food from the tiger's mouth. Although he can't beat the people here can't kill him either. As long as he is given a chance, this opportunity may not be impossible to fall into his hands. After all, Kawazuo, who has hunted soul beasts, knows very well that the soul ring of soul beasts can only be absorbed by the hunter himself. That is to say, as long as he can successfully kill Xiao Wu, then Xiao Wu's soul ring can only be absorbed by him. In this way, Kawazuo only needs to take Xiao Wu's soul ring to escape from here, and he will be confident that he can absorb this 100,000-year soul ring by force with his terrifying recovery ability. Kawazuo carefully recalled his plan and found that it was indeed feasible. He immediately decided not to continue pretending to be a good person. Since entering school, Kawazuo has been hiding his true character, pretending to be a good person, building good relationships with classmates at school and inquiring about information. But as the saying goes, pretending to be a pig to eat the tiger, if you pretend to be a pig for a long time, you may really become a pig. To be honest, after pretending to be a good person for such a long time, Kawazuo feels that he is almost no longer like himself. Hey, I'm sorry, Xiao classmate, I will accept your soul ring without hesitation. Kawazuo, who is immersed in thinking, obviously did not see Wu Tong's eyes. The meaning revealed in Wu Tong's eyes looking at Kawazuo was full of playfulness and disdain. Don't worry, you won't have this opportunity. Looking at Kawazuo's appearance, Wu Tong said silently in his heart. Grandma, should we do this? Meng Yiren was blinded by greed for a moment and turned to look at Zhao Xiangxiang on the side. No, this is Mr. Wu Tong's prey. We can't offend Mr. Wu Tong. Zhao Xiangxiang was not blinded by this greed. Chapter 206 Tang Sen, Wu Tong, you already have a way to die. Although she was also surprised that Xiao Wu was a 100,000-year soul beast, she suppressed her greed. Because she knew very well what the name Wu Tong represented. He was a divine examiner who was supported by most of the forces on the continent, and the first wise man praised by almost all the people of Douluo Continent. With the strength of their family, even if they could obtain this soul beast, they would offend Mr. Wu Tong. In this case, it would undoubtedly be picking up sesame seeds and losing watermelons. After all, Mr. Wu Tong's friendship is more important than those 100,000-year soul rings. After all, a 100,000-year soul ring can only strengthen one person, while Mr. Wu Tong's friendship may help their entire family rise. Hearing Zhao Xiangxiang's words, Meng Yiren also suddenly realized this problem, and quickly retracted the greed in her heart. Then, like a melon-eating crowd, she stood aside with Zhao Xiangxiang and watched the next development of the matter. Feeling the greed, resistance, desire and all kinds of negative emotions coming from the side. After coming out of the Xingdao Great Forest, Xiao Wu, who had always been well protected by Tang Sen, had never experienced such a scene of being abandoned by everyone and being criticized by thousands of people. For a moment, she was stunned. I seem to have messed up my only way to survive? Thinking of this, Xiao Wu, who was overwhelmed by love, finally regained her mind under the threat of death. Are you sure you don't want to say it? You know, you were abandoned by Tang Sen, But you can still protect Tang San's whereabouts so wholeheartedly? Tut tut. Seeing that Xiao Wu finally came out of the state of love, Wu Tong said in amazement. It seems that this old rabbit still has some brains. Now it seems that he has not completely turned into the Tang San pendant 5 years later. Although Xiao Wu had withdrawn from the state of love brain, her mouth had not yet reacted, and she subconsciously defended Tang San. You are talking nonsense. Brother San will not abandon me. Then tell me, why didn't he take you with him when he ran away? Wu Tong sneered at Xiao Wu's rebuttal. This matter did not stand up to scrutiny. If Tang San really cared about Xiao Wu so much, how could he not take Xiao Wu with him? No matter what the reason, as long as Tang San did not take Xiao Wu away, this is an indisputable fact. No matter how clever the words are, it cannot change this fact. At this moment, on the other side, in the blue-silver forest, Tang San, who was knocked unconscious by Tang Hao and taken away, also woke up slowly at this time. After seeing Tang Hao's figure, Tang San was also overjoyed. Later, after several hours of lyricism and communication, Tang San also learned from his father Tang Hao that Wu Tong was chasing them. After knowing this, Tang San was furious with Wu Tong. Wu Tong, you not only made my teacher sink into despair, but also dared to hurt my relatives. Do you want to die? So, with anger and hatred in their hearts, Tang San and his companions, under the guidance of Tang Hao, came to the inheritance place of the Blue-Silver clan and found the Blue-Silver King that could help Tang San's Blue-Silver grass spirit to awaken for the second time. Father, is this the Blue-Silver King? Looking at the towering blue tree not far away, Tang San's eyes were full of shock. He did not expect that the Blue-Silver grass could grow to this extent. This was beyond his cognition. That's right, Xiao San, go ahead. You have the blood of the Blue-Silver Emperor in your body, and the Blue-Silver King will definitely help you. You must remember that no matter how painful it is during the awakening of your bloodline, you must persevere. Only by successfully awakening the Blue-Silver Emperor martial spirit can you have a talent comparable to Wu Tong and avenge your elder brother and the sect. Tang Hao looked at the Blue-Silver King in the distance and said with expectation. As for Xiao Wu, you don't have to worry. She is a transformed 100,000-year-old soul beast. It would be dangerous if she stayed in the human world. It just so happens that Shrek and his group are going to the Starred Out Great Forest to hunt souls today, so I have left a letter for her to stay in the Starred Out Great Forest. As long as Xiao Wu doesn't come out, Wu Tong will probably be unable to do anything to her. What? Transformed soul beast? Hearing Tang Hao's words, Tang San was very surprised. He didn't expect that Xiao Wu was not a human. Thinking of this, Tang San's heart was full of strangeness. As a traverser who has reincarnated from the feudal society, he naturally heard of those folk strange novels. Originally, he just thought of it as a joke, but now he didn't expect that this kind of thing would happen to him. This made Tang San feel weird and unacceptable. After all, in the cognition of the descendants of Yan and Wang, all alien humans are barbarians, not to mention those who are not human. Although Tang San is a hypocrite and a double-standard villain, this feudal concept is still deeply imprinted in Tang San's mind, which made him not know how to face Xiao Wu for a while. I know, Father, this is good. Xiao Wu will be safer. After we successfully deal with Wu Tong, I will go to the Xingdao Great Forest to pick Xiao Wu back. Looking at the figure of the Blue-Silver King not far away, Tang San, who was still very entangled in his heart, chose to turn over this issue for the time being. Then I'll go first, Father. Go, Xiao San. Remember, you must persevere. After saying that, Tang Hao looked at Tang San's figure, his heart full of hope. Come on, Xiao San, you must succeed. However, Tang Hao did not expect that last night, because the dormitory of Shrek Academy was leaking on all sides. The letter he placed on Xiao Wu's desk had been blown to an unknown place by a gust of wind. So, a wonderful misunderstanding was born by accident. Let's not talk about Tang Hao and his son who are awakening their martial spirits for the time being, and the scene turns back to the Starred Out Great Forest. This faced with Wu Tong's question, Xiao Wu didn't know how to answer. Yes, why didn't Tang San take her with him when he left? Now she has calmed down, and after thinking for a moment, she naturally sorted out Wu Tong's intention. Wu Tong killed the whole family of the third brother, which means that today he came to the third brother to kill the roots. But the third brother left Shrek Academy in advance, which means that the third brother knew that Wu Tong would come here. But if that's the case, third brother, why didn't you take me with you? Are you afraid that I'll hold you back? Or do you have some other reasons? Chapter 207, Shrek is selfish and Kawozu takes action. Continued from the last chapter. Thinking of this, Xiao Wu's delicate face could not help but reveal a sad expression. At this moment, it seemed that all the means of rebuttal had lost their meaning. After all, no matter what, when Tang San left, he did not take her with him, leaving her alone to face Wu Tong. This was an indisputable fact. Nothing to say, right? Then tell me honestly. Looking at Xiao Wu's hesitant look, Wu Tong chuckled and said, "It was this expression that I wanted to see the most. This feeling of desolation as if everything had lost its meaning. It was really cool. Let you always show off your love in front of me. Impossible. I believe in Brother San. He must have his own difficulties." After a moment of silence, Xiao Wu came back to her senses. Although she still felt a little bitter in her heart, she still did not give in. It seemed that she finally chose to believe in Tang San. After all, the feelings she had for 6 years were really something she could not let go. Hearing this, not only Wu Tong was speechless, but also the others who heard this were speechless. The facts were right in front of them, but they were still unwilling to believe it. How could there be such a stupid person in this world? No, a soul beast? Is this what is called love? This kind of self-deception gives people the feeling that it is more like a brain disease than love. Should I say that he is indeed one of the most famous love brains in the Douluo world? Oh, just do it directly. Anyway, you can't ask it, so don't waste everyone's time, okay? I am also very busy. Mobius on the side did not look over, but stared at Kawozu, his tone full of impatience. Obviously, Mobius was a little impatient to study this perfect experimental subject mentioned by Wu Tong. Well, since she doesn't want to use Tang San's life to exchange for her chance to live, let's just solve it. After all, the transformed soul beast is just a soul beast. It's not my kind, so its heart must be different. Wu Tong did not refuse Mobius's proposal. Now he looked at Xiao Wu as if he was looking at an idiot. To be honest, after seeing Xiao Wu's lovesick look, Wu Tong was too lazy to continue talking nonsense with her, which made him feel that he was always wasting his breath. The Snake Granny and Sun and Shrek's group heard what the two said, and instead of stopping Wu Tong, they breathed a sigh of relief. Since Wu Tong was about to get what he wanted, they should be able to leave here soon. On the other hand, Mobius, who was standing by, looked at Xiao Wu carefully with his green snake eyes after hearing Wu Tong's words. He tapped his lips with his index finger and said with a sickly face, "Great, we don't have to waste time here anymore, but can we not kill her first? The transformed 100,000-year soul beast seems to be quite rare. The experimental effect of living mice is better than that of dead ones. It doesn't matter. You can do it. It doesn't matter whether she is dead or not." Wu Tong agreed to Mobius' request without hesitation. Afterwards, Wu Tong and his group, who didn't intend to waste any more time, decided Xiao Wu's fate in a few words. As for Xiao Wu's thoughts, that's not important. Besides, under the watchful eyes of the titled Douluo, she didn't dare to have any thoughts. After all, this path was chosen by her, wasn't it? Then, Wu Tong and his group passed by Xiao Wu's position and turned their eyes to the Shrek team on the side. Seeing the look in Wu Tong's eyes, Zhao Wuji and others also began to panic instantly. Mr. Wu Tong, do you have anything else to do? Wu Tong snorted coldly. Don't worry, it's none of your business. After leaving Kawozu, Nami and Xiao behind, you can leave. Otherwise, you can also try to resist, maybe you can succeed. Hearing Wu Tong's words, Zhao Wuji and others were silent for a moment. After all, they were just a group of selfish people. How could they risk their lives for the safety of others? In the original work, Zhao Wuji risked his life to save others, but he had no choice. After all, there were too many students with deep backgrounds in the team. Once they died in the Xingdao Great Forest, even if he went back alive, he would be hunted down by major forces. After all, the daughter of the leader of the Kibaoliuli sect, the third lady of the Xingluo family, the third prince of Xingluo, and the son of Haoshan Douluo all died here. If he went back alone, he would definitely be suspected by those forces, and even be hunted down by major forces with the idea of killing the wrong person rather than letting him go. So as a temporary measure, Zhao Wuji could only try his best to save people. But now it's different. Xiao, Nami and Kawozu don't have any deep backgrounds. They are just civilians. Although they are geniuses, this reason is not enough for Zhao Wuji to fight Wu Tong for these three people. After all, a dead genius is no longer a genius, but a corpse. Therefore, for the sake of their own lives, Zhao Wuji and others seemed to have not heard Wu Tong's words. They just kept silent and had no intention of defending the three people. Seeing this, Wu Tong just sighed and ignored this group of people. After all, a group of people who can abandon their companions at any time are not taken seriously by Wu Tong. Ah, me. Hearing her name, Nami was stunned, and then she was confused. What's the situation? Mr. Wu Tong, why did he let her stay? Did he like me? Thinking of this, looking at the handsome and heroic boy in front of her, Nami couldn't help but have an intoxicating blush on her face. Mr. Wu Tong, I wonder why you let Nami stay. After hearing Wu Tong's words, Zhu Xiuqing walked out of the crowd of Shrek and defended the little sister she had just made. However, Wu Tong just glanced at her and ignored Zhu Xiuqing. Instead, he looked at the figures of Nami, Qiwazu and Xiaoyu and said, "Yes, it's you three, a love-minded soul beast, and two stowaways from another world." Wu Tong's voice had just fallen, and the others hadn't reacted to the meaning of Wu Tong's words. A black shadow rushed out from the team of Shrek in an instant, turning from extremely quiet to extremely active in an instant, as fast as lightning, leaving a trail of afterimages in the air, carrying the momentum of thunder and lightning, and rushed towards Wu Tong. The violent murderous aura made people have no doubt that the black shadow wanted to kill Wu Tong. Chapter 208 Demon Slayer and Pirates, World Coordinates obtained. However, in Wu Tong's eyes, this lightning-fast speed seemed to be stretched and extended by time, as slow as a snail's crawling. I've been on guard against you for a long time. If you, a little jerk, really succeed, will I still be able to survive in the future? Looking at Qi Aza's attack, Wu Tong sneered in his heart. Then, Wu Tong directly stretched out his hand to block his chest, but secretly used a very clever force-relieving technique, preparing to give this guy a little shock from Chinese martial arts. The figure didn't react at all and just ran into it. Then, the fist that seemed to be able to break through everything and carried the might of thunder, just like in the eyes of everyone, fell directly into Wu Tong's hands as if it was delivered to the door. It seemed that after Wu Tong stretched out his hand, the black shadow directly delivered his fist to Wu Tong's hand. Dong, with a muffled sound. This attack was like a drop of water returning to the sea, without causing a ripple. Wu Tong's figure didn't even shake slightly. After being stopped, the figure of the black shadow gradually emerged. Pink hair, golden pupils, slender figure, and skin as pale as paper. Everyone recognized the identity of this person. One of the 7 members of Shrek, Qiwazu. However, Qiwazu at this time no longer had the harmony and indifference just now. His face was full of indifference and manic killing intent, as if he wanted to tear Wu Tong into pieces. At this moment, Qiwazu looked at Wu Tong with disbelief in his eyes, as if he couldn't believe that Wu Tong could catch his attack with his bare hands. You know, this is an attack that he tried his best. How could it be defended so easily? Why? After your identity was exposed, you planned to kill and silence it? But it seems that you are disappointed. Is it hard to believe? But this is the fact, you are not my opponent at all. And I want to ask, what do you think? Why do you think I am weak? And subconsciously you are going to take me as the first one to attack. Looking at Qiwazu's disbelief, Wu Tong asked with a sneer. HMPH, Qiwazu snorted coldly, without answering Wu Tong's words, but prepared to continue attacking Wu Tong. Destruction and killing as Qiwazu used his power, the surrounding air seemed to turn into Qiwazu's weapon, staring at Wu Tong. But this time Wu Tong was in no mood to let Qiwazu attack again. Before Qiwazu could use his moves, Wu Tong directly slapped him with a large sinus at a speed faster than the speed of thunder. With a pop sound, Qiwazu's head, like a ripe watermelon, was blown up by Wu Tong with a large sinus. In an instant, Qiwazu's blood, brain matter, bone fragments, blood and flesh debris and other head tissues were seen splattering everywhere, dyeing the surrounding environment with a touch of blood. Looking at this horrible scene, everyone was shocked by Wu Tong's cruelty and did not dare to make a sound. Mobius did not care about the bloody scene, but squatted on the ground, looking at Qiwazu's corpse with interest. The corpse that should have been completely dead did not lose its vitality. The flesh and blood at the head of the headless body was surging and wriggling, like a living mass of meat, recasting and reorganizing in the air, which looked very disgusting. Oh, it seems that this is indeed a race with a high degree of immortality. This is really great. Next, let's take the recovery ability of ghosts as a research topic. Mobius looked at this physically uncomfortable scene, but he did not show any disgust. Instead, he looked at the meat mass that was wriggling and recovering rapidly with shining eyes. When Alicia and others saw this scene, they did not show any unexpected expressions. For Mobius, a scientific research madman, no one would know better than their companions. So when seeing Mobius like this, Alicia and others all looked indifferent. Wu Tong also knew that Mobius was eager for Kikuza, and without hesitation, he also leaned down and put his hand on Kikuza. In a moment, a new world coordinate flashed in Wu Tong's mind. Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba world coordinates obtained. Looking at the world coordinates that have been obtained, Wu Tong no longer cares about Kikuza. He directly threw Kikuza, who has no use value, to Mobius, who was waiting eagerly on the side, and no longer paid attention to Kikuza's affairs, allowing Mobius to do whatever he wants with him. Then, Wu Tong's eyes turned to Nami, and he slowly walked towards Nami's position. Why, seeing that he has resisted, so you plan to resist too? No resistance, no resistance. Seeing this, Nami hurriedly shook her head like a rattle and denied it. At the same time, Nami raised her hands in surrender while denying it. That's good, don't worry, as long as you cooperate seriously, we won't do anything to you. Seeing that Nami was so tactful, Wu Tong also smiled and said, while slowly approaching Nami's direction. Seeing Wu Tong coming towards her, Nami still couldn't hold back her doubts and asked, Mr. Wu Tong, can I ask a question? No, okay. Nami, who was rejected instantly, could only accept her fate. Haha, just kidding, I know what you want to ask. But you don't need to know how I know you are from another world. You just need to know that I can send you back. Seeing Nami's aggrieved and lost look, Wu Tong replied. Wu Tong was not interested in explaining to Nami about the world's stowaways because he was lazy. But Wu Tong was very interested in sending Nami back. After all, it was a casual thing, and he was quite looking forward to the world of One Piece, and he would definitely go there in the future. Wouldn't it be enough to take Nami with him when the time comes? Anyway, it wouldn't waste much time. You can send me back? Really? Hearing Wu Tong's words, Nami's eyes lit up, thinking of her relatives in her original world, and couldn't help but ask Wu Tong hurriedly. Wu Tong said, of course, I can send you back after a while, but before that, you need to stay by my side, okay? As long as you can let me go back, I can pay any price. After listening to Wu Tong's words, looking at Wu Tong's steps gradually walking towards her, and thinking of the fantasy just now, Nami's eyes flashed, and then as if she had made up her mind, she spoke. Chapter 209, set out to go deep into the inner circle and prepare to meet the beast. Continuing from the last chapter, did she misunderstand something? Seeing Nami's self-sacrificing look, Wu Tong blinked, feeling a little confused. However, now is not the time to care about these details. After coming to Nami's side, Wu Tong did not hesitate, and directly put his hand on her shoulder, then let go of his perception and began to collect the world coordinates of Nami. In a short while, Wu Tong had copied the world coordinates of Nami. Feeling the newly added coordinate position in his mind, Wu Tong nodded with satisfaction. The world coordinates of One Piece are obtained. In this way, the 2 world coordinates given for free are in hand. Okay, since everything has been done, let's go. There are still some things to deal with. After that, Wu Tong didn't plan to waste time here anymore, and turned around and prepared to leave this place. Seeing this, Nami quickly came to Zhu Zhuking's side before she started to leave. Looking at this good friend who was the only one willing to speak up for her, she smiled and said, I'm sorry, Zhuking, I have to follow Mr. Wu Tong now. This is my only hope to go home. I can't give up. Thank you for speaking for me. Also, I hope you can achieve your wish and live the life you want. After that, Nami glanced at the people of Shrek Academy, leaned over to Zhu Zhuking's ear, and whispered in a voice that only the 2 of them could hear, also, Shrek Academy is not a place where you can stay for a long time. If possible, I hope you will leave there too. This is not nonsense. Nami has been experiencing the sufferings of the world since she was a child. She has been in various pirate groups for so many years and has trained a pair of fiery eyes. During the time she joined Shrek Academy, Nami witnessed the situation of the academy with her own eyes. Not to mention the environment of the academy, just from the composition of the members of the academy, it is not a good place. The greedy and stingy Dean, Flanders, the reckless and irritable Vice Dean, Zhao Wuji, and the idle teachers. The love-brained soul beast Xiao Wu, the seemingly sunny and cheerful, but actually cold and ruthless Qiaza, the greedy and lustful Ma Hongjin, the alcoholic and sensual Dime Yu Bei, and the hypocritical and double-standard Tang San. These people together are even more complicated than the pirate group she had been undercover in before. Therefore, she did not want her good friend Zhu Xiuqing, who had just made a friend, to continue to stay in this chaotic place. After Nami finished speaking, she saw Zhu Xiuqing began to think, and she was relieved in her heart. Then she said goodbye to Zhu Xiuqing. She quickly followed Wu Tong's pace. Just as she said, Wu Tong was her only hope to go home. After a small episode, the sun had already set in the west. Looking at the gradually setting sun, Wu Tong and his group did not dare to waste any more time. They took the new captives who joined the team, Xiao Wu, Qiaza and Nami. They embarked on the journey again and walked towards the inner core circle of the starred out Great Forest. Wu Tong, are you going to enter the inner circle? As the group walked on the road, Xiao Wu suppressed her excitement and asked Wu Tong carefully. She was very familiar with this road. It was obviously the road to the inner circle. It seemed that Wu Tong and his group were going to enter the inner circle. In this way, as long as they entered the inner circle, they would be safe. After all, Lord Beast God and the Lord were all at the Lake of Life. Thinking of this, Xiao Wu's eyebrows inadvertently revealed a hint of excitement. Well, we are going to make a deal with Didion and the Silver Dragon King. You are not thinking of running away at that time, are you? Wu Tong glanced at Xiao Wu. Even the power of mind reading was useless. It didn't take much effort to see Xiao Wu's thoughts. She couldn't help but laugh in her heart. Girl, you are so understanding. But silly rabbit, why don't you think about it carefully? Why did I dare to come here on my own initiative when I knew there was danger here? How could that be? I'm the best and I won't run away. Xiao Wu's smile froze when she heard Wu Tong's words. Wu Tong actually knew about Lord Didion and the Lord, and he seemed to have come to find the Lord and the others. In that case, his strength must be strong. After all, knowing the existence of the Lord and the others, he dared to go to the core circle, which showed that Wu Tong was very confident in his strength. From this point of view, even if I go to the core circle, I will not be safe. Thinking of this, Xiao Wu couldn't help but burst into tears, because the fierce beasts headed by Didion have always looked down on the transformed soul beasts. After returning as a captive, let alone being rescued, it would be good if she was not driven out. After getting Wu Tong's answer, Xiao Wu completely accepted her fate. She didn't dare to have any small thoughts in her heart, so she had to follow everyone. Soon, Wu Tong and his group speeded up and hurried on their way while touring the mountains and rivers and enjoying the scenery. Not long after, they arrived at the inner circle of the Lake of Life. Oh, it seems that the beasts of the starred out Great Forest are still quite capable. They actually knew I would come in advance. Looking at the group of soul beasts standing by the Lake of Life, Wu Tong narrowed his eyes and said, "Is this the Lake of Life? Such abundant life force, it really deserves to be a treasure land." Hu took a deep breath, feeling the body nourished by the life force, and couldn't help but sigh. Humph, it's really good. If there was this thing before, it would definitely be more fun to fight. Ho 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 ho. Kyanji couldn't help but laugh wildly. In response, everyone just looked at each other and ignored the crazy Kyanji. Boss Wu Tong, are there any soul beasts you mentioned among that group of people? Pato, who was standing aside, saw the group of strange soul beasts by the lake and immediately remembered what Wu Tong said before leaving, so he quietly leaned into Wu Tong's ear and asked in a low voice. Wu Tong looked at Pato's timid look, and felt angry and amused. What? I told you that I could protect you, did you think I was joking? Not to mention this group of guys, even among the gods in the divine world, there are very few who can compete with me now. Seeing this, Wu Tong rolled his eyes and said unhappily, yes, among that group of ferocious beasts, except for the Emerald Swan Biji, the other ferocious beasts are the ones I said are dangerous. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 210, First Meeting with Didion, a brief discussion of the transaction. But it's only for you. Of course, Wu Tong didn't say this. After saying this, Wu Tong, with a full of evil taste in his heart, watched Pato's face begin to change. Pato's face first turned black, then turned pale, and then turned livid. To be honest, if he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, Wu Tong would definitely not believe that a person's face could change so many times. Okay, Wu Tong, don't scare Pato anymore. Little Pato is about to cry. Also, the group of people by the lake seem to be waiting for us. Let's go over quickly. It's not Miss Fairy's style to keep the host waiting for a long time. Seeing that Pato was about to cry because of Wu Tong's fear, Alicia quickly changed the subject. What? Boss Wu Tong, are you actually scaring me? Hearing Alicia's words, Pato immediately reacted and looked at Wu Tong, who was watching the show, with a resentful look. Well, not really. After all, they can pose a threat to you. Seeing that his little prank was exposed, Wu Tong groaned for a moment, then slowly said. So it's just for me? That's good, that's good. After hearing Wu Tong's words, Pato patted his chest and said as if he was relieved. As for the danger that the beast would pose to herself, Pato didn't care about this. Pato is very self-aware and knows how poor her combat power is. If she were to fight, she might not be able to handle even a small 10,000-year soul beast, let alone a 100,000-year soul beast. Therefore, Pato has always been very clear about her own positioning, that is, a pendant and a mascot. As for her own safety, that thing has its own boss to worry about. As long as her backer doesn't fall, she doesn't need to worry about her own safety. Seeing Pato's relieved look and understanding what Pato meant, Wu Tong smiled helplessly and shook his head. It's over. This cat is probably useless. It doesn't even have the slightest ambition. Alice. After sighing in his heart, Wu Tong stopped paying attention to this rotten cat and turned his eyes back to the lakeside of the Lake of Life. Then let's go. After all, the owner is standing at the door to welcome us. We can't waste people's efforts. Starred out Great Forest. Inner Circle. After Emperor Yan brought the Red King back from the bottom of the lake, he received the order of the Silver Dragon King and led the fierce beasts to wait for Wu Tong at the lakeside of the Lake of Life. They have been waiting until now. Seeing that Wu Tong and his party have finally arrived, Emperor Yan and other beasts hurriedly sorted out their own conditions. Finally here, is this the strong man with the fighting power of a god king? At this moment, as if it was a sense of intuition, Emperor Yan recognized Wu Tong's identity subconsciously when he saw Wu Tong for the first time. Hello, I am Emperor Yan, the beast god of the starred-out Great Forest. This unknown sir, may I ask what is the purpose of your coming here? Seeing Wu Tong and his party coming over, Emperor Yan did not hesitate at all and went straight to meet them and asked Wu Tong who is walking in the front. Behind him, followed a group of fierce beasts and Xiao Wu's two younger brothers. Hello, Emperor Tian Beast God, I am Wu Tong. I am not here to cause trouble, but to make a deal with you. Beast God, don't be too nervous. Seeing Emperor Tian's vigilant look, Wu Tong smiled and comforted him, and then spoke directly without any nonsense. Hearing Wu Tong's words, Emperor Tian was stunned. Trade? I wonder what kind of deal Sir Wu Tong wants to make. Wu Tong's smile did not change. I want this Lake of Life. This Lake of Life is really inconvenient to trade. Please change the conditions, Sir Wu Tong. Hearing Wu Tong's words, Emperor Tian's face was a little ugly, and before Wu Tong finished speaking, he directly refused. It's not that he wants to offend Wu Tong, but he really can't give it. If Wu Tong wants something else, then even if it is something precious, Emperor Tian will grit his teeth and give it. But the Lake of Life is different. This Lake of Life is related to the injuries of their master, the Silver Dragon King. How could such a life-saving thing be given to Wu Tong? If it was really given to Wu Tong, wouldn't he, Emperor Yan, betray his master and become a sinner of the Soul Beast clan? Therefore, Tian rejected Wu Tong's request without waiting for him to finish. Wu Tong was not surprised. He had expected this scene, so he was not angry. Instead, he continued, don't be impatient, Tian Beast God. It's not too late for you to make a decision after I finish my request and the conditions of the exchange. Wu Tong had already said this. If Tian refused again, he would seem to be a little ungrateful. Fortunately, Tian also understood this problem and did not refuse Wu Tong again this time. Okay, Mr. Wu Tong, please continue. Hearing Tian's words, Wu Tong nodded with satisfaction, and then continued, I need a lot of things. In addition to this Lake of Life, I also want some hair of the Emperor's auspicious beast, some blood essence from all your fierce beasts, the Xianmeng Eye Silkworm, the body of the dark demon evil god tiger, close to the golden tree, And all the soul bones you have collected over the years, this is impossible. Don't you think you are going too far, Mr. Wu-Tong? You know, although our soul beast clan does not have the ability to fight with you, if we are in a desperate situation, I believe we can still do it. Hearing Wu-Tong's request, Dion's face was so ugly. These requests were indeed a bit too much. Listen to what Wu-Tong said. Let's not talk about the dark demon evil god tiger, soul bones, Xianmeng ice silkworm and the golden tree. It's okay to give them. After all, it doesn't have much impact on them. But the lake of life, the hair of the emperor's auspicious beast, the blood essence of the fierce beast, these things, can they be given casually? Look at you, you are anxious again, aren't you? You are so impatient before I even finish speaking. This is not good. Moreover, this is the second time you interrupted me. As the saying goes, 3 times is the limit. If there's a third time, I think the consequence is not what you want to see. After all, sometimes the fish in the net will die, but the net may not break. Wu-Tong looked at Dion's dark face, and his tone was a little unfriendly. After all, he has never been a generous person. If you are threatened by someone, how mean you ought to forgive him. Thinking of this, the aura of Wu-Tong gradually became violent. The violent aura directly triggered the celestial phenomena, and the atmosphere in the entire Xingdao Great Forest gradually changed. Chapter 211 Human-Shaped Natural Disaster. Wu-Tong, a little expert in enlivening the atmosphere. Continued from the previous article, in an instant, the sky suddenly darkened, and along with Wu-Tong's anger, there appeared a scene of howling wind, lightning and thunder, and changing colors of the wind and clouds. A dark cloud roared with the wrath of thunder. For a moment, the sky above the entire Xingdao Great Forest was full of wind and rain, lightning and thunder, and the solemn atmosphere made it look like the end of the world. From the perspective of an observer, there was a sense of impending storm. This momentum was not summoned by Wu-Tong using his power, but was completely caused by Wu-Tong's life level, because Wu-Tong's Red Wheel Heart Sutra was an all-round improvement in combat power and life level. So when he was promoted to the 4th level combat power, his life level also reached the 4th level. At this point, it was enough to be called a human-shaped natural disaster, and the whole world would change with his joy and anger. Wu-Tong could even boast unceremoniously, "When I am happy, the sky is clear, and when I am angry, the sky changes." This is just the ability Wu-Tong had when he first entered the 4th level, not to mention the terrifying improvement Wu-Tong had after a period of practice. Since returning from the collapsed world, Wu-Tong has let the intelligent brain assist him in absorbing the stored collapsed energy crystals non-stop, and it can be said that he is practicing all the time. In addition, the innate magical power from the world beast he obtained a few days ago, devouring, has allowed Wu-Tong's practice speed to reach a higher level. The changes in his cultivation can be said to be changing with each passing day, and every day is a new height. In just a few days, the number of pure yang acupoints in Wu-Tong's body has increased from 110 acupoints to more than 500 acupoints. His strength has long undergone earth-shaking changes, and now it can be said that he has completely reached the combat power of the 4th level. Relying on his own joy and anger to affect the weather in an area, this grand operation is just a thought for Wu-Tong now. But Dion didn't think so. Looking at the scene where the sky and the earth changed color when Wu-Tong got angry, his heart couldn't help but surge. This kind of might is even more frightening than the methods of the several god kings in memory. The human race is really a race with unique advantages. Thinking that the soul beasts have practiced hard for tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of years, but they are actually overtaken by the title Douluo of the human race who has practiced for only 100 years, Dion felt bitter in his heart, and his expression became more solemn when he looked at Wu-Tong. Just as the two looked at each other solemnly and the atmosphere gradually solidified, a voice suddenly sounded. It broke the dead silence. "Ah, don't be so serious, relax a little, we are not here to fight. Mr. Dion, why don't you listen to Wu-Tong's words? You should not refuse what he offers." The appearance of this lively voice made the originally tense environment at the scene stagnate, and then gradually eased. When Dion and other beasts heard this voice, they also relaxed unconsciously. It's not that their character is bad. After all, hundreds of thousands of years have passed. No matter how bad their character is, it has become unbreakable under the erosion of time. As for why they suddenly relaxed, it was because they felt the sincere kindness in Alicia's tone, so they were willing to let down their guard. After all, animals' perception of emotions is far better than that of humans. Although Dion and the others don't want to admit this, they are still willing to believe the results of instinctive perception. So, after hearing this voice, Dion subconsciously let down his guard. Should I say that she is indeed worthy of being a fairy lady? This communication ability is simply amazing. How come this voice came from behind? Dion thought about it carefully, and immediately found something wrong. Then he realized something and turned his head away. When did you go there? This is what Dion is thinking now. At this moment, he is staring at Alicia's figure in a daze. Wu Tong, who was standing aside, also put away his momentum after hearing the voice of Alicia. After all, his original intention of coming here was not to fight. Someone gave Wu Tong a way out, so he had to get off quickly, otherwise he would not be able to get off the stage in a while. Thinking of this, Wu Tong couldn't help but want to give Alicia a thumbs up. It was really considerate. But when Wu Tong heard the voice and looked to find Alicia, the corners of his mouth twitched subconsciously. This position is a bit wrong, right? When did you go there? No wonder he felt that there was something wrong with this voice. It turned out that Alicia had run to the opposite team at some point. Looking at Alicia, who was surrounding Biji and Ziji and harassing them, and then looking at Biji and Ziji's helpless expressions, Wu Tong immediately understood what happened. It must be that Alicia saw the beautiful girl and couldn't help but quietly approach her. Thinking of this, Wu Tong slapped his forehead, and suddenly felt helpless in his heart. Should we say she is worthy of being the leader of lesbians? Alicia, who was surrounding Biji and Ziji, felt everyone's eyes looking at her, and her hand movements were stunned. She turned back to look at Wu Tong, Dion and others. Seeing that everyone's eyes were indeed looking at her, Alicia smiled awkwardly. Hey, when Alicia, who was reluctant to leave, was pulled back to the team by Eden, this embarrassing scene finally came to an end. Ahem. Wu Tong saw that Dion had not reacted yet, cleared his throat, and spoke again. Let's continue the topic just now. I have finished talking about my needs. Now I can tell you my trading items. Don't worry, as long as you are not stupid, you will definitely not refuse. Hearing Wu Tong's words, Dion also came back to his senses. Looking at Wu Tong's confident look, he couldn't help but sneer in his heart. We won't refuse? How is it possible? The Lake of Life is a must-have item for the treatment of the Lord. How could it be exchanged with you? But before Dion could speak, Wu Tong's voice came again. In exchange, I can completely heal your master, the Silver Dragon King's injuries. Are you serious? The Red King behind Dion couldn't help but ask, and the other beasts also looked at Wu Tong eagerly. Dion also completely forgot his previous thoughts at this moment, and looked at Wu Tong nervously. As the subordinates of the Silver Dragon King, they naturally hoped that their master could recover from his injuries. Chapter 212, Transaction Reached, Successful Meeting with Silver Dragon King Guyuna. After all, if the master can recover, then the strength of their Soul Beast clan will be enhanced by more than a little. That is a God King level combat power. This can greatly boost the morale of the Soul Beast clan, which is not in a good situation now. But the premise of all this is based on the premise that Wu Tong can cure the Silver Dragon King. Thinking of this, the desire in the eyes of Dion and other fierce beasts could no longer be concealed, and they looked at Wu Tong with sharp eyes. They all wanted to get a definite answer from Wu Tong. It's stable. Seeing the eager eyes of Dion and other beasts, Wu Tong knew that this transaction could be said to be completely stable. Although he had long known that with the loyalty of the fierce beasts to the Silver Dragon King, they would definitely agree to his request. However, after feeling the urgency and enthusiasm of Dion and other beasts, Wu Tong still felt inexplicably relieved. Of course, since I dare to use this thing as a trading condition, it means that I am sure of it. Looking at Wu Tong's confident look, Dion and other beasts were also extremely excited. The original idea of never agreeing to the exchange had long been thrown out of their minds. Sir Wu Tong, we agree to your transaction request. We can prepare what you want. But before that, I need you to meet the master with me. When Dion was about to agree to Wu Tong's request, a secret wave was transmitted into Dion's mind. Dion was originally planning to agree directly, but with the transmission of the wave, he paused without leaving a trace, and then added a request on the basis of agreeing to the transaction. Wu Tong looked at this scene and immediately understood. It seems that the Silver Dragon King must have given some instructions. Although Wu Tong was a little surprised to hear Dion's words, Wu Tong was still not afraid of the Silver Dragon King. After all, with all the trump cards out, let alone a Silver Dragon King, even the Dragon God would not be his opponent. As the saying goes, If you have enough confidence in your heart, Wu Tong will naturally no longer be afraid of a mere silver dragon king. So Wu Tong said without hesitation, okay, but since the beast god has agreed to the deal, I hope that when I leave with you, you can prepare what I want. After all, I have something to do later and don't have so much time to wait for you to collect the items. Okay, Mr. Wu Tong, I'll arrange it now. Hearing this request, Dian did not refuse. After all, it was not a big deal. After agreeing, Dian looked at the fierce beast standing aside, without too much nonsense, and ordered, Qi Wang, you take Shuangjun to find and kill the dark demon evil god tiger. Remember to be careful, after all, this beast is related to the evil god. Hearing Dian's order, Qi Wang nodded and said, yes, beast god, BG, you take ZG to them to find soul bones and other things. Okay, we'll go there now. As for the auspicious beasts, when seeing the three-eyed golden lion, Dian was a little embarrassed. The emperor's auspicious beasts dared not force it. Otherwise, if one thing goes wrong, the backlash of luck is not a joke. Just when Emperor Yan was thinking about how to speak, the three-eyed golden lion took the initiative to speak. No problem, isn't it just some hair? As long as the master sister successfully heals the injury, I will be willing to lose all the hair on my body. Seeing that the three-eyed golden lion was obviously very distressed, but he pretended to be willing to sacrifice his life, Emperor Yan's eyes moved slightly, and he nodded slowly. The auspicious beast has grown up. Okay, there's nothing to do next. Everyone force out some blood essence and give it to Mr. Wu Tong's people. After saying that, Emperor Tian took the lead in forcing out a mouthful of golden blood essence. Seeing this, the other fierce beasts did not hesitate. After all, this was something they agreed to, and with a small price, they could get back the fighting power of a god king. It can be said that they made a lot of money, okay? So, the fierce beasts forced out their blood essence one after another. For a while, green, dark purple, fiery red, and light blue blood essences appeared one after another. It really opened the eyes of Wu Tong and others. I didn't expect that the blood of soul beasts could have so many colors. It's really an eye-opener. After forcing out a blood essence, Wu Tong made some jade bottles and collected the blood essence of soul beasts floating in the air, and then handed the collected blood essence to the three scientists who were waiting anxiously. After seeing that Wu Tong had collected the blood essence, Dian continued to say, King of 10,000 monsters, you and the Azure Bull Python and Titan Giant Ape will entertain the guests here. Okay, King of 10,000 monsters replied. After arranging everything, Dian looked at Wu Tong again. Mr. Wu Tong, as for the remaining clues of the golden tree, the Xianmeng ice silkworm and the lake of life, how about I give them to you after I come back later? Wu Tong nodded and did not object. Okay, then let's go. After that, Dian grabbed Wu Tong's shoulders and took Wu Tong to the bottom of the lake of life. After entering the bottom of the lake of life, Wu Tong had no time to appreciate the scenery at the bottom of the lake before Dian took him to a crack at the bottom of the lake. Is this the hiding place of the Silver Dragon King? It's really plain and simple. Looking at the crack in front of him, Wu Tong easily felt a powerful spatial power from it. It seems that the Silver Dragon King should have opened up a space inside to hide his figure. It can only be said that he is worthy of being the incarnation that has mastered the power of creation of the dragon god. A dragon with special ability is a luxury. He is worthy of being a dog owner who inherited the legacy of the dragon god. Oh, so I have it too. That's fine. Dian did not realize that Wu Tong had noticed the space inside, and introduced, yes, this is the hiding place of the master, Mr. Wu Tong. Inside, no need to say, Mr. Wu Tong should have discovered this space, just bring him in. At this time, a voice as cold as the moonlight sounded, like a crisp bell, making people feel comfortable. Yes, my master. When Dian heard this voice, he immediately said respectfully, let's go, Mr. Wu Tong. It seems that the master is waiting for you. Well, alright, Wu Tong nodded, not paying attention to the look of Dian, who looked like he had seen a ghost. He directly waved his hand to break through the barrier of space and walked in. Hi, hello, Your Excellency the Silver Dragon King. Looking at the Silver Dragon King, who had transformed into a young girl with purple eyes and silver hair, Wu Tong waved and said hello. Chapter 213, Alliance Request Rejected, Treatment begins. Continuing from the previous article, hello, Mr. Wu Tong, nice to meet you. Looking at Wu Tong, who appeared in front of him, the Silver Dragon King replied and then said to the outside, Since Mr. Wu Tong has already come in, you, Dion, don't need to come in. I need to discuss something with Mr. Wu Tong in secret. You just stay outside the space. Yes, my lord. After getting the response from Dion, the Silver Dragon King looked at Wu Tong with a little surprise and said, I didn't expect Mr. Wu Tong to have the ability to control space. That's just a small trick. I wonder what Your Excellency the Silver Dragon King wants to see me about. Wu Tong replied modestly to the Silver Dragon King's compliment. You don't have to call me Silver Dragon King, just call me Gu Yuna. That's my name. Originally it should be Gu Yu. I checked online. Gu Yuna is the name after the fusion of the secondary personality Nair, but for the convenience of readers, let's change it to Gu Yuna. Okay, Miss Gu Yuna. In fact, in addition to asking you to come here to heal my injuries, another purpose is to form an alliance with Mr. Wu Tong to fight against the God Realm together. Gu Yuna smiled slightly when she heard Wu Tong's address. Oh? Interesting, but why should I fight against the God Realm? There is no conflict between me and the God Realm. Wu Tong did not agree, just looked at Gu Yuna and said. Gu Yuna said, because of your strength. What's wrong with my strength? Wu Tong pretended to be curious and said. You are too strong. You have the God King level combat power. Except for the 5 great God Kings, there are very few God King level combat power in the God Realm. And the group of gods in the God Realm will certainly not be able to tolerate the existence of an uncontrolled God King on Douluo Star, so in the near future, I believe that a god from the God Realm will come down to the world to issue an edict of amnesty to you. At that time, sir, you will only have the 2 choices of surrender and destruction. After all, you alone cannot fight against 5 gods of the same level, but if you form an alliance with me, it will be different. After Mr. Wu Tong heals me, my strength will be restored to the God King level. In this way, although the 2 of us God Kings cannot defeat the God Realm, it will be no problem for us to contend with it. After all, the God Realm will not offend 2 God Kings at the same time at all costs. Besides, I think Mr. Wu Tong doesn't seem to have a good impression of the God Realm, so I want to form an alliance with Mr. Wu Tong, and then we can work together to resist the targeting of the God Realm. What do you think, sir? After saying everything in one breath, Gu Yuna looked at Wu Tong with some expectation. This is a God King level combat power, and he is still very young. He may surpass the God King and reach the realm of Dragon God in the future. We must recruit him and give it a try. What if he succeeds? Moreover, even if he fails, we must build a good relationship with him and never offend him. Although Gu Yuna was thinking about it, her eyes were always fixed on Wu Tong in front of her. I'm sorry, Miss Gu Yuna, I don't actually have the idea of forming an alliance. After Wu Tong heard this, she couldn't help but want to laugh. I was planning to attack the God Realm after returning from Luotiandajiao. But now you say you want to resist the offensive of the God Realm with me? Isn't this version a bit wrong? So Wu Tong didn't even think about it and directly rejected Gu Yuna's recruitment. Mr. Wu Tong, you should think it through. You should know that although your strength is very strong, but, before Gu Yuna continued to persuade, Wu Tong waved her hand to interrupt her. I really have no interest. Miss Gu Yuna, you don't need to persuade me anymore. Seeing Wu Tong's stubborn look, Gu Yuna was helpless. Well, if you want to change your mind, I welcome you anytime. Since Mr. Wu Tong has no intention of forming an alliance, I won't waste Mr. Wu Tong's time. Now please treat me. After my injuries are healed, I will give you everything you need. Yes, Wu Tong nodded and started to work. With countless green light spots floating out of Wu Tong's hand and sinking into Gu Yuna's body, the treatment finally began. The bottom of the lake of life was silent. Wu Tong was treating Gu Yuna's injuries. At the same time, the scene by the lake was also strangely silent. Pato and Grey Xiu were captured by the appearance of the Emperor's auspicious beast, the 3-eyed golden lion. They lay beside the 3-eyed golden lion and told stories to the little soul beast princess. Beside them was the king of 10,000 monsters, who was afraid that Pato and the others would hurt the 3-eyed golden lion, so he was staring at Pato and Grace. And Kyanji, Kevin and Cosmo were watching the king of 10,000 monsters closely, and would attack frantically if the king of 10,000 monsters made any unusual movements. Well, this scene was really a bit strange. The beautiful girl team composed of Alicia, Ying, Eden, Apanya and Hua followed Brigitte and Ziggy to collect soul bones. But it seemed that Alicia was more likely to want to get close to the beautiful girls, so she dragged a group of beautiful girls to follow. As for Mobius, May, Velvet and Sue, They formed a research team and began to study some of the materials in their hands impatiently. These include but are not limited to, Kyaza, Nami, without harm, soul beast corpses, special plants, auspicious beast hair, fierce beast essence blood. In a small corner, the azure bull python and the titan giant ape were asking Xiao Wu why she came with Wu Tong, but Xiao Wu was always talking about something else. Sister Xiao Wu, you'd better not change the subject. Tell us quickly. We still need to wait until we understand this kind of thing before we can help you. The azure bull python saw that Xiao Wu had been unwilling to tell the truth, and couldn't help but persuade her. Yes, Sister Xiao Wu, how did you get caught by Wu Tong? The titan giant ape also said anxiously. Xiao Wu saw that her two silly brothers were not affected by her little tricks, and she knew in her heart that it was impossible to hide the past, so she had no choice but to tell the truth. Blah, blah, this is what happened, Sister Xiao Wu, this is too risky. You actually offended a strong man like Wu Tong for the sake of Tang San. What's so good about that Tang San that he is worth your protection? What's more, not to mention that damn Tang San actually dared to abandon Sister Xiao Wu. I'm going to find a way to teach him a lesson right now. After hearing this, the titan giant ape became angry instantly and was ready to set off to teach Tang San a lesson. Chapter 214. Don't have the intention to harm others, but be on guard against others. Erming, stop, Erming, stop right there. Hearing the words of the titan ape, the azure bull python and Xiao Wu spoke at the same time. The titan ape ignored Xiao Wu's words, because Xiao Wu would definitely stop him from teaching Tang San a lesson, which even a reckless man like him knew very well. But the azure bull python's stop made him very confused. Why did the azure bull python stop him from teaching Tang San a lesson? Didn't he want to teach Tang San a lesson? This made the titan ape stop and wanted to listen to the azure bull python's explanation. The azure bull python said calmly, "You go find them? How do you find them? Do you know where they are? Just go find them." Hearing the words of the azure bull python, the titan ape was stunned for a moment, and then became frustrated. Yes, I don't even know Tang San's location, how can I teach him a lesson? After the azure bull python finished speaking, it no longer paid attention to the titan ape, but turned to Xiao Wu and said seriously, "Sister Xiao Wu, is there really no other way? If it doesn't work, I can fight them, you can take the opportunity to escape. No, if you really do that, you will definitely die." Xiao Wu shook her head and rejected the azure bull python's plan. Moreover, once we do that, we will be sinners in the soul beast world. We want to deal with the Lord Savior. This crime is enough to make us doomed. At that time, not only will we not be able to survive in the Soul Master world, but even the Soul Beast clan will not tolerate us. So what? As long as Sister Xiao Wu is by our side, we don't care about anything, the titan ape said disapprovingly. It only cares about its relatives, and other people are not within its consideration. Erming, you idiot, have you ever thought that we can't escape at all? Once we really take action, it will inevitably cause the wrath of Lord Dian, and then he will definitely take action himself. And once Lord Dian takes action, we have no way to resist. Although Xiao Wu was very moved, she was also a little disappointed. When will Erming grow up a little bit? This is not okay, that is not okay, then we can't let you, Xiao Wu, suffer, right? The titan giant ape was complained by Xiao Wu and said helplessly. Alice, this is a dead end in itself. Now it seems that we have no ability to save Xiao Wu from Wu Tong. The sky blue bull python on the side sighed lightly, regretting in his heart. His strength is still not strong enough. As long as he is strong enough, then whether it is Aunt Ro at the beginning or Xiao Wu now, they don't have to be so passive, and they can live well under his protection. But Alice. Sighing again, the azure bull python finally came up with a solution that was not really a solution. If it really doesn't work, when the Red King comes back, we will follow him and surrender to Wu Tong together. After all, we don't want to see you, Xiao Wu, get hurt again. With 200,000-year soul beasts equivalent to the human race's title Douluo, Wu Tong will surely not hurt you, Xiao Wu. For our sake, this solution is indeed not a big problem, but the azure bull python really didn't expect Wu Tong to have the Dimension Chat Group, a magical artifact that can connect the heavens and the worlds. With this magical artifact, Wu Tong will not lack powerful subordinates, so the 200,000-year soul beasts are really nothing in Wu Tong's eyes. When Xiao Wu was chatting with her two brothers, she didn't notice that there was a flashing red dot on her clothes. This red dot was a running monitor made by Wei Erwei. As the saying goes, you can't have the intention to harm others, but you must be on guard against others. Being prepared in advance can also avoid unnecessary casualties in advance. Therefore, when Wei Wuyi proposed this plan, Wu Tong did not refuse, because he also wanted to see what choice Xiao Wu and the others would make. She still has some brains and has not done anything to betray her. Listening to the content coming from the eavesdropper, Wei Wuyi nodded, then looked at Mei and others who were staring at her, nodded and said, "No problem, no need to worry." Then, Wei Wuyi seemed to have changed into a different person, and her tone gradually became exaggerated. "Then let's get on with it. I must make achievements this time and let Wu Tong agree that I can hold a grand magic show in the academy." With that, Wei Wuyi rushed out with an excited look on her face, ready to continue the unfinished research. Mobius and others looked at each other, their eyes full of understanding. "It seems that he has changed from a conductor to a magician." Mobius shrugged. "Okay, since you're fine, let's continue researching. I haven't seen such amazing biological materials. If they can be used in medicine, we can definitely create countless new drugs." Su didn't care about Wei Wei's changes. After all, he was used to it. He said excitedly, "Indeed, but it's a bit of a waste to use it in medicine. These treasures should be used in the great process of life evolution." Mobius glanced at Su and replied directly. Looking at his companions with fanatical eyes, Mei was a little helpless, but he followed them. After all, these things are really amazing. If they are studied thoroughly, they will play a vital role in the progress of civilization. Time flies, and in a moment, it's already midnight. Next to the Lake of Life, a bonfire was set up by Alicia and others who had returned. Kainji, Kevin and others, with the wild vegetables they picked and the soul beasts they hunted, began to prepare a barbecue feast. And those beasts who went out also came back with the items Wu Tong needed. The dead body of the dark demon evil god tiger, a large number of soul bones of various ages, hundreds of years, thousands of years, 10,000 years, and even a few 100,000 years. However, these things were thrown carelessly by the beasts on the open space beside the lake, and piled into a small hill. After the beasts threw down the things, they smelled the fragrance in the air. They all followed the fragrance in the air and ran towards the bonfire party built by Alicia, ready to shamelessly eat a barbecue made by Master Kainji. Alicia and others had no objection to this. After all, these beasts were very friendly to them. As the saying goes, don't hide a smiling person. It's better to have one more friend than one more enemy. So Alicia and others expressed a warm welcome to the beasts who shamelessly ate. Chapter 215 Bonfire Party, The Appearance of Xianmeng Ice Silkworm. Continued from the last chapter, the beasts were also very surprised by Alicia's invitation. After a few hours of harmonious coexistence, and Alicia and others did not have any resentment towards the dead soul beasts. Therefore, the beasts had always had a good impression of Alicia and her group, so they were willing to party with them. In this way, the two groups of people who ran in both directions quickly became a group at this impromptu bonfire party, and played together. While a group of people were singing and dancing, laughing and talking. Hualala, several water columns shot out from the Lake of Life, rushing the water of the Lake of Life to the sky, and then fell rapidly and returned to the Lake of Life. As the water columns rose, several streams of light also rushed out from the bottom of the Lake of Life in an instant, at a speed that was difficult to distinguish with the naked eye, and brought several breaking sounds in the air, rushing in front of a group of people. When the streams of light dissipated, several figures gradually appeared. Everyone looked up and saw the figures of Guyuna, who was wearing a silver-white robe, white hair and purple eyes, Di Don, who was wearing a black robe, and Wu Tong, who was wearing a navy blue plain robe. "Hey, are you all eating?" Wu Tong looked at the happy scene in front of him and couldn't help but raise his eyebrows in surprise. How long has it been since their relationship became so good? "Yes, Boss Wu Tong, do you want to come?" Wu, I have to say, it has to be Brother G. The grilled fish he makes tastes really good," Pato said vaguely while chewing the grilled fish in his hand. "Master G made it? Then I must try it. Give me a skewer." Wu Tong did not refuse. He took the two people behind him and sat next to the burning bonfire. Then, he took the barbecue handed over by Alicia and started to chew it. "Alicia, this is clearly what I prepared for the white-haired lady, huh? It's really good." After taking a bite, Wu Tong's eyes lit up instantly. It has to be said that it is worthy of being a creature with extraordinary power. The meat has long been nurtured by the extraordinary power and is very delicious. Not only does it not have the fishy smell of ordinary meat, but it also has a unique fragrance. And with the addition of Master G's superb grilling skills, a grilled fish that is crispy on the outside and tender on the inside, fat but not greasy, was born. When you take a bite, the meat is fragrant, soft and delicious, and the feeling of the gravy bursting in your mouth makes Wu Tong extremely satisfied. It's really worthy of you, Brother G. I knew I was right about you. You are definitely a good chef. When I find other food worlds in the future, I will take you there to study. Maybe you can be a god of food in the future. While eating, Wu Tong gave a thumbs up to Qianji, who was grilling. Qianji, who was standing aside, just rolled his eyes at Wu Tong and said nothing when he heard what Wu Tong said. Dian and Guyuna, who were standing aside, couldn't help but be hungry when they saw Wu Tong's appearance. After tasting the same grilled fish as Wu Tong, they also praised the grilled fish. Then, after tasting the sweetness, what followed was naturally a gluttonous feast. After everyone in the field looked at each other, the tense atmosphere spread instantly, and the war was about to break out. You fight for it, you come and I go. And the scene is chaotic, which is really lively. Hey, little monster, grill it yourself, don't always grab mine, I don't have enough to eat. Miss Guyuna, come and try this, I grilled it for you myself. Uncle Dion, this grilled meat is so delicious. Chew, Sister Snake, eat first, study it for a while and you can make it when you go back. After a gluttonous feast, it was time to say goodbye. After taking a look at the pile of soul bones of various ages and the corpse of the dark demon evil god tiger placed on the side, Wu Tong waved his hand to put them away, and then turned his head to look at the place where Dion was sitting. Got it. As soon as Wu Tong's eyes glanced over, Dion understood what Wu Tong meant. Without hesitation, he waved his hand gently, and a white light appeared on the lake of life beside him. Then, as if white paper was cut, a sound like glass breaking suddenly sounded. Although the sound was very weak, it was very annoying in the dark night. After hearing this sound, everyone also cast their eyes over. As the sound sounded, the white light on the lake gradually dissipated, as if something was broken. At the same time, a soft voice that sounded like someone who was easy to bully came from the bottom of the lake. Ha ha ha, I finally came out. Although I don't know why the seal suddenly broke, let's go quickly, lest those inhuman guys from Dion lock me up again. Then, a figure slowly emerged from the lake. A huge silkworm emerged from the lake. It had a round head that looked fleshy, with a diameter of more than 1 meter and a body length of more than 7 meters. Its entire body was white jade, crystal clear, with a halo flowing under its skin, and a pair of small golden eyes on its head. The most peculiar thing was that starting from half a meter above its head, there was a golden pattern at intervals, and from beginning to end, there were a total of 9 golden patterns. It was the figure of the Xianmeng ice silkworm. 9. Wu Tong frowned. Didn't he remember that there were 10? In a flash, he thought that it was now 10,000 years ago in the Peerless Tang sect, and then he suddenly realized, isn't this 10,000 years later? In other words, the current Xianmeng ice silkworm is only about 990,000 years old? On the side, the Xianmeng ice silkworm quietly crawled out from the lake surface and thought that no one had discovered it, so after crawling out, before seeing the scenery in front of it clearly, it turned around and spit at the lake of life behind it. Bah, damn Dion, you dare to do this to me, you wait for me, when I find a backer in the future, I will beat your shit out, even if you poop clean. Beep 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 beep. Then, Xianmeng ice silkworm started to spray again, and the words it used were so wide that even Wu Tong, who had seen modern sprayers, couldn't help but be shocked. But Xianmeng ice silkworm said it happily, but at the same time, Dion, who was listening behind him, couldn't help but have veins on his forehead. This guy, after hearing what Xianmeng ice silkworm said, the Chi Wang and other beasts on the side were struggling to hold back their laughter. They wanted to laugh but didn't dare to laugh, which looked quite funny. Chapter 216, Tianmeng, the Golden Ancient Tree. Slip away, I can't slip away. After saying these harsh words, Xianmeng ice silkworm did not forget its current situation and turned around to try to slip away. As a result, as soon as it turned around, Greek letter sigma, degree. Oh, it's over, Mom, I miss you, can you take me with you? Just because Xianmeng ice silkworm turned around, a bunch of old acquaintances appeared in front of it. Among them were Dion, who stared at him intently after being scolded and wanted to kill him, the Chi Wang and his party who were having a hard time holding back their laughter, the Silver Dragon King who looked at him with interest, and the three-eyed golden lion who absorbed the most energy from him every time. In addition to these acquaintances, Xianmeng Ice Silkworm also noticed a group of humans who looked at it with inexplicable expressions. Humans. Dion cooperated with humans? Doesn't he hate humans the most? Forget it, these things are not important. The most important thing now is to quickly find a way to survive from Dion's hands. Think quickly, Xianmeng, come on, you can do it. Xianmeng's brain began to work rapidly, and after a long time, forget it, I can't do it. Xianmeng, who had no idea, changed his face and said to the group of people in front of him with a playful smile, "Hey, are you guys eating? Then I won't bother you for now." "Oh, you said this is really, how come I came out for no reason? I will go back by myself," Xianmeng Ice Silkworm said while moving towards the lake of life behind him in small steps. "I just came up to take a look, I didn't think of running away. Now that I am done, I'll go back first, don't bother you guys to do it." After saying that, Xianmeng Ice Silkworm turned around and rushed towards the lake behind him. It was close and about to go in. Looking at the lake just around the corner, Xianmeng Ice Silkworm's face was full of joy. But in a flash, this smile froze on Xianmeng Ice Silkworm's face. Just because Emperor Yan made a move, the scene after that was extremely cruel. Even Wu Tong and others could not bear to watch and turned away. After teaching the Xianmeng Ice Silkworm a lesson, Emperor Yan introduced the Xianmeng Ice Silkworm that was lying in a pool behind him, like mud, to Wu Tong with a relaxed expression. "Mr. Wu Tong, this is the Xianmeng Ice Silkworm. It should be a soul beast of 990,000 years old now. However, although this guy is very old, he is not very powerful. After all, the cultivation in his body is all gained by eating and drinking, so this guy is just a show-off. Even some soul beasts of 10,000 years old cannot beat him." "Okay, I know all these things, not to mention that I don't need his fighting power when I look for him." Listening to Emperor Tian's words, Wu Tong waved his hand, indicating that he had already understood this information. If he wants to fight, he can just do it himself. What's the use of Xianmeng Ice Silkworm, a weak chicken with little fighting power? After saying that, Wu Tong looked at the Xianmeng Ice Silkworm pretending to be unconscious and said with a smile, "Okay, Xianmeng, stop pretending. I know you are not unconscious. Dion and the others sold you to me. From now on, you will follow me. How about it? What do you think? What kind of devil is that? Do you still have to express your feelings after being sold?" Xianmeng Ice Silkworm's mouth twitched, and he secretly complained in his heart, but he did not object at all. No, Boss Wu Tong, I will follow you from now on. Just tell me if you have anything to do. I will go through fire and water without hesitation." Xianmeng Ice Silkworm is not a fool. Judging from the attitude of Dion and Silver Dragon King towards Wu Tong, this is obviously a big thigh. And it seems that it is the kind that Dion and the others can't afford to offend. In this case, has my dream of hugging a thigh actually come true? How he Dion, you wait for me. When I get to know my big brother, you will have something to worry about thinking about it." Xianmeng Ice Silkworm couldn't help but laugh out loud, and a trace of crystal clear saliva gradually flowed from the corner of his mouth. Looking at Xianmeng Ice Silkworm who was lost in fantasy, Wu Tong and others couldn't help but twitch their lips. "Miss Gu Yuna, where's the golden tree now?" Resisting the urge to hit the insect, Wu Tong turned his gaze to Gu Yuna on the side and asked about the clues of the golden tree. Gu Yuna was startled, then realized that Wu Tong was planning to leave. After suppressing the reluctance that had arisen in her heart for some reason, she said, "The golden tree is inside the Xingdao Great Forest, and it is protected by our Soul Beast clan. I'll let Dion take you there, but remember, the golden ancient tree can be given to you, but Mr. Wu Tong, you must protect it well. You must know that the golden ancient tree is the life core of Douluo Continent, and you must not make any mistakes." "Well, leave it to me, don't worry," Wu Tong hummed in response to Gu Yuna's reminder, then nodded and looked at Dion. Afterwards, Dion took Wu Tong away from the Lake of Life and continued to move deeper into the Xingdao Great Forest. Not long after, Dion took Wu Tong to a canyon deep in the Xingdao Great Forest. After passing through a barrier that was strong enough to resist the attacks of guns, the two did not stop, but walked straight in. Not long after, a huge golden ancient tree appeared in front of the two. The golden trunk, body, and even leaves all emit a faint golden glow, and along with the golden glow, there are waves of majestic life energy. The light green life energy condenses into a green cloud, covering the golden ancient tree of life. This golden ancient tree, which is like a work of art, is filled with a touch of life color. The entire golden ancient tree looks extremely majestic and magnificent. And right below it, there is a large group of three-eyed red demon mastiffs and dark gold fear claw bears patrolling and guarding the golden ancient tree. It seems that this is the soul beast that Gu Yuna said guards the golden ancient tree. Wu Tong nodded secretly, not surprised. After all, this is the life core of Douluo Continent. Once there's a problem, it will be a big deal. Meet the Lord Beast God. Seeing Dian walking in with an unfamiliar human, although they were puzzled, the soul beast still saluted respectfully. Yes, Dian nodded, and then ignored these soul beasts. In his opinion, if a soul beast is not 100,000 years old, it is not worth his attention. Mr. Wu Tong, this is the golden tree. Dian looked at the golden tree, his eyes were dazed, and immediately this treasure did not belong to the soul beast family. Oh, yes, there is also the Lake of Life. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 217 Transplanting the Ancient Golden Tree, Ice and Fire Dragon King. Thinking of this, even with Dian's temperament, his heart ached. Heartache? However, when he thought of the recovered Silver Dragon King, this heartache was alleviated a little. Fortunately, it was not a complete failure. It is really spectacular. After reading the description of the golden tree in the ancient books, I have been fascinated and have always wanted to see it. I didn't expect that when I really saw it, it was even more spectacular than the description in the book. Wu Tong looked at the golden ancient tree in front of him with a shocked face. Speaking of which, this is also the most shocking extraordinary plant that Wu Tong has ever seen. Even his own residence, the towering giant tree Yulang Kuofen, did not shock him more than the golden ancient tree. It is indeed worthy of being the life core of Douluo Continent, the embodiment of life energy. Just standing in front of it, Wu Tong can feel a surge of life energy pouring out of the tree, nourishing his body. Although the effect on Wu Tong is minimal, this kind of nourishment is long-lasting, endless, and completely harmless to the human body. Wu Tong is sure that if an ordinary person lives here for a long time, he can definitely prolong his life, improve his qualifications, and finally embark on the path of becoming a soul master. Mr. Wu Tong, I don't know how you plan to take the golden tree away. If Mr. Wu Tong has no other way, maybe you can leave it here first and move it away when you have a way in the future. Please forgive me. It's not that I don't want you to take the golden tree away, but Mr. Wu Tong must be very clear about the importance of this golden tree. The life core of Douluo Continent must not be wrong. Dian looked at Wu Tong, who looked indifferent, and couldn't help asking. Then he realized that there was something wrong with his question and hurriedly explained it. Wu Tong slowly came back to his senses after hearing Dian's words. Seeing Dian's somewhat embarrassed look, Wu Tong smiled and said, "Don't worry, I am still very clear about this matter. Nothing will happen to the golden ancient tree. As for how I take it back, just take it back like this." As soon as Wu Tong finished speaking, Dian saw a black barrier crashing towards the two of them. Before he could react, he was swallowed by the barrier. Then, Dian found that the surrounding environment had changed. Wu Tong, and the golden tree appeared on a small island. Not far away was a spring of ice and fire. The spring exuded extremely powerful ice and fire power. Although it looked harmless, it still gave Dian a strong sense of crisis. Dian looked at the yin-yang eye of ice and fire with fear, and then moved his eyes to other places. The scene in front of him suddenly opened up. Various buildings built by humans and the figures coming and going had already vividly shown him the fact that he had left the Star Forest. My academy is not far from the Sunset Forest. How is it? It's beautiful, right? Wu Tong smiled and said. Are you kidding? I know you have spatial ability, but is your spatial ability so strong? I didn't even react, and you moved me and the golden tree thousands of miles away? This kind of spatial ability is the power of the God King? Dian was silent immediately. Even with his knowledge, he was shocked by Wu Tong's dimension door at this moment. Wu Tong saw that Dian was lost in thought, and he did not want to disturb him. He brought the golden ancient tree back to the location of the yin-yang eye of ice and fire, found the best planting spot where the power of ice and fire was equal, and planted the golden ancient tree. After the golden ancient tree was planted, it felt a crazy growth environment that made the plant unable to help but stretch its branches and leaves happily, shaking its branches, and the whole tree exuded a sense of satisfaction. It looks like this place is good, it is quite suitable for the growth of golden trees, but why do I always feel a familiar breath? Dion looked at the happy look of the golden ancient tree and couldn't help but sigh. Then, he expressed his feelings. As soon as he arrived here, Dion felt a strong blood attraction and two familiar breaths. Familiar breath. Hearing Dion's words, Wu Tong was stunned for a moment, and then reacted to what Dion was talking about. Oh, I see. It should be the yin-yang eye of ice and fire. When I was relocating the yin-yang eye of ice and fire, I seemed to have found two dragon corpses under it. Dragon corpses? Emperor Tian was also stunned when he heard Wu Tong's words, because if it was a real dragon corpse, then this level of connection would mean two pure-blooded dragons. After all, mixed-blood dragons can't bring such a strong blood attraction to themselves. And this familiar feeling seems to be the corpse of the Ice and Fire Dragon King. At this time, Wu Tong finished speaking. So it's the Ice and Fire Dragon King. Hearing Wu Tong's words, Emperor Tian completely reacted. Yes, only the pure-blooded dragons at the level of the 9 Dragon Kings can bring such a strong blood attraction and this unique sense of familiarity to themselves. Alice, did the Ice and Fire Dragon King fall here? Oh, right, the Dragon Soul. By the way, Mr. Wu Tong, I wonder if the Dragon Soul of the Ice and Fire Dragon King still exists. Thinking of a certain possibility, Emperor Tian asked Wu Tong excitedly. The body should not be returned. After all, this piece of treasure land seemed to be formed by relying on the body of the Ice and Fire Dragon King. Once the body of the Ice and Fire Dragon King changes, this piece of treasure land will definitely cease to exist. Therefore, Tian never thought that Wu Tong would return the body of the Ice and Fire Dragon King to him, so he did not ask about the body of the Ice and Fire Dragon King. Instead, he directly began to ask about the dragon soul of the Ice and Fire Dragon King. This is not that Tian asked randomly, but it is indeed possible. Although it has fallen for such a long time. But at that time, the Ice and Fire Dragon King was a strong man at the level of the God King. Such a strong man, whether it is the body or the soul, is not so easy to dissipate. In other words, the dragon soul of the Ice and Fire Dragon King may still exist in the body of the dragon corpse. Thinking of this possibility, Tian couldn't help but get excited. If the dragon souls of the 2 Dragon Kings really exist, then their Soul Beast clan has added a foundation. Although the Dragon King is dead, their cultivation experience and the eyesight of the God King are still there. Even if they can't go into battle to kill the enemy, they can still cultivate the younger generation. How can it not be considered a foundation? If Wu Tong knew what Tian was thinking, he would definitely praise Tian as a qualified capitalist. Chapter 218, The Training Method of the Soul of the Underworld. The Dragon Soul is obtained. Dragon Soul? Wu Tong was startled. When he moved things yesterday, he didn't seem to check whether the Dragon Soul of the Ice and Fire Dragon King existed. Thinking of this, Wu Tong's mood suddenly became bad. It was not because he was afraid that something would happen to the 2 Dragon Souls. He was afraid that the 2 Dragon Souls would do something to him and destroy this treasure land. After all, the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire, as a natural treasure land, can be upgraded with a promotion of the world in the future. It can't be destroyed by 2 fools. It seems that using the dragon corpse as the core of the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire is still inappropriate. After a while, find a way to replace the dragon corpse with a dragon vein. In this way, it will be safer. Maybe the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire will be upgraded because of this. Wu Tong was thinking in his heart, and his hands were not slow at all. With a thought, 9 soul rings suddenly appeared behind him. As soon as the 9 soul rings appeared, the second soul ring automatically floated in front of Wu Tong according to Wu Tong's thoughts. With a flash of light, the soul ring instantly turned into a human figure, and a 2-headed little Lolita with an ancient style instantly appeared. The spirit of the human emperor banner, Minghan. Master, after Minghan came out, he bowed to Wu Tong with a serious look. He looked like Fu Hui, self-disciplined and serious. But for some reason, Minghan's eyes had 2 very vivid dark circles. Minghan, look for the two dragon corpses under the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire to see if there are any dragon souls. Looking at the dark circles under Minghan's eyes, Wu Tong's eyes flashed a smile. Although it was a bit old-fashioned, it was still quite cute, a little Lolita with dark circles. However, Wu Tong quickly regained his mind and began to give orders to Minghan. Yes, master. Hearing Wu Tong's order, Minghan's face tightened, and then she waved her hand, and the mini version of the human emperor banner appeared in her hand. With a gentle wave, countless thick black mists gradually emerged around her body. Has the ghost soul become stronger? It feels like the black fog summoned this time seems to be thicker. Wu Tong looked at the black fog, and a trace of doubt flashed across his eyes. However, this trace of doubt was fleeting. This might be because more and more people joined the human emperor banner family. And why bother so much? Isn't it a good thing that the ghost soul has become stronger? She can't betray him. After a flash of thought, Wu Tong looked at the actions of the ghost soul and stopped talking. Inside the human emperor banner, countless black mists, cold and strange air, miserable wails, all of which are wantonly sweeping this small world that only accommodates resentful souls. The intelligent brain controls the Xitigarbha Yuhan and the power of erosion, and wholeheartedly infuses the power of erosion into the world of the Academy Apocalypse, and is making every effort to prepare for Wu Tong's plan. And the creatures in the world, except for the Yanhuang people who were transferred to a small island in the Douluo realm by Wu Tong, all other lives have become the talent breeding base of the human emperor banner. Therefore, countless souls were continuously fed into the human emperor banner by the intelligent brain. And the human emperor banner completely became a peerless magic weapon that accommodated the life of a world. What Wu Tong didn't know was that at this moment, the number of resentful souls in the human emperor banner was not only not increasing, but was gradually decreasing. The human emperor banner was filled with shouting, fighting, hysteria, and the sound of swallowing and biting that made people's scalps numb. Looking around, countless souls were fighting continuously, regardless of enemy and friend. Each soul was biting, gnawing, and devouring the surrounding souls as much as possible. In the hope of making themselves stronger, so that they can survive this elimination, all the resentful souls and evil ghosts are fighting with all their strength. After all, failure means death. This scene is the work of the ghost. In fact, these countless souls should have turned into resentful souls and ghosts for Wu Tong to drive, but after yesterday's battle, the ghost understood that in these extraordinary worlds, the number of people is meaningless to the real strong. So after returning to the Emperor's banner, the ghost soul immediately held a large-scale military training, driving countless souls to devour each other, in order to feed more powerful evil ghosts, hoping to cultivate a real ghost. Moreover, this method of raising gu is not without benefits for the ghost soul. In the process of countless souls fighting, there will always be some residues that fall. These remaining soul essences are all absorbed by the ghost soul controlling the Emperor's banner, and the Emperor's banner has also evolved a little. This is also the reason why Wu Tong feels that the ghost soul has become stronger, and the ghost soul does not know Wu Tong's thoughts at this moment. If she knew, she would definitely tell everything truthfully. After all, everything the ghost soul does is for Wu Tong, and it is impossible to hide it from Wu Tong. But sometimes, misunderstandings are so coincidental. The ghost soul does not know Wu Tong's thoughts, so he did not tell Wu Tong what he did. Perhaps, it will take until the next time Wu Tong uses the Emperor's banner to discover this change. But this is all later, so let's not talk about it for now. After the black mist surged out of the soul, it controlled the black mist around it and condensed it into chains. Looking at the chains surrounding it, the soul frowned and clenched the Emperor's banner in his hand. The purple light on the Emperor's banner flashed slightly, and countless runes instantly appeared on the chains. Wu Tong only took a few glances and recognized most of the runes. Gather soul, arrest soul, control soul, fix soul, bind soul. Good guy, are you planning to catch the god of death? Wu Tong smacked his lips and complained secretly. The soul didn't know what Wu Tong was thinking. Looking at the purple runes emerging on the chains, Sanwu's little face showed a satisfied look for the first time. Then, as the soul exerted its strength, countless chains instantly sank into the ground and went towards the body of the Ice and Fire Dragon King. But what was surprising was that there was no movement in the land where the chains were not sunk, and even a small grass did not change. Dian looked at this scene and was a little surprised. Is this a mental attack? It actually didn't have any impact on the real world, which is really incredible. Not long after, Two illusory spirits, one red and one blue, were tied up with chains by the ghost and pulled out of the ground. Wu Tong finally breathed a sigh of relief. Great, the trouble is over. After it was done, Wu Tong held the two little snakes in his palms, put away the ghost, and then looked at Di Tian. At this moment, Di Tian had lost his calmness as a beast god. He looked at the two little snakes struggling in Wu Tong's hands with excited eyes. He wanted to say something, but he didn't know how to start, so he could only look at Wu Tong nervously. Chapter 219 Returning to the Academy, Welfare Girl. He really didn't expect that the dragon soul of the Ice and Fire Dragon King would actually exist. It was just a casual question. In fact, he didn't hold much hope. After all, so much time has passed. Looking at Di Tian's expression, Wu Tong chuckled, and then handed the two small snakes in his hand to Di Tian, who was looking forward to it. Here, this is the existing dragon soul of the Ice and Fire Dragon King. Thank you, Mr. Wu Tong. From now on, the starred-out Great Forest will be Mr. Wu Tong's eternal ally. As long as you have an order, we will definitely do our best. Seeing Wu Tong handing him the dragon soul without any care, Di Tian looked solemn. After bowing to Wu Tong, he made a solemn promise. Yes, Wu Tong nodded and accepted Di Tian's promise. Afterwards, Wu Tong collected all the lake water around the island and returned to the Lake of Life with Di Tian. Then, after learning about Wu Tong's behavior from Di Tian, the Silver Dragon King and others admired Wu Tong even more. After another round of greetings, Wu Tong returned to the academy with a Lake of Life, which was exchanged for ordinary lake water, Xiao Wu's three siblings and Qi Wang, and Alicia and others. After returning to the academy, the Xingdao Great Forest tour group also dispersed, and Nami followed Alicia and others back to the Golden Courtyard. Scientists such as Mobius rushed into the laboratory prepared by Wu Tong for them, ready to study the newly obtained research materials in their hands. Douluo was also sent back to Xiandao City by Wu Tong, and Qi Wang and Xiao Wu's three siblings were also assigned positions by Wu Tong and thrown into the staff dormitory, ready to take office in a few days. After everything was settled, Wu Tong placed the relocated Lake of Life next to the island in the middle of the lake, in the lake that was no longer filled with water, and then slowly walked towards the tree house behind the island. Finally I can go home, Deep in the Yuhu Canyon. Inside the Yulingku Fengshu house. The 10th floor, Wu Tong's residence. I'm finally back. I'm so tired. I thought I could finish it in the afternoon, but I didn't expect it to be done in the evening. It turns out that plans can't keep up with changes. Exhaling a breath, Wu Tong complained casually, and then opened the door of his room. Oh, little Wu Tong, you're back? That's great, welcome back. As soon as he entered the room, a figure threw himself on Wu Tong, followed by a full of energy and cheers. Feeling the plump figure in his arms and the soft touch on his chest, Wu Tong immediately understood in his heart. Shizuka Miracle. After all, only Shizuka Miracle would know these two big truths of this scale. Well, I'm back, Shizuka. Wu Tong hugged Miracle Shizuka in his arms with his backhand, looked down, and was immediately shocked by Miracle Shizuka's outfit. Miracle Shizuka was wearing a black and white maid outfit, and her plump figure was perfectly set off by this slim-fitting outfit. The devilish figure, the temperament of a young woman after having her virginity broken, and the cute and silly personality, just like a ripe peach, made Wu Tong feel unable to control himself. Welcome back, Master Wu Tong. At this time, Dokujima Yezi, who was also wearing a maid outfit, also walked over slowly and saluted Wu Tong. Do we still need to be so polite to each other? Yazi, Master, Wu Tong was a little confused about Dokujima Yazi's address. Is this role-playing? Is it so interesting? Yes, Master, me, Shizuka-sensei and Minami Rika, the three of us, were arranged into the maid team by Sister Yun today. In this way, we will be your maids in the future, Master. Douluo said with a smile. Just keep making it up. If Wu Tong hadn't seen a sly look in Douluo's eyes, he might have believed it. But at this time, Wu Tong came back to his senses. He was afraid that joining the maid team was fake, and the fact that he had no clothes was real, right? Thinking of the clothes that the three people had torn up by him the night before, Wu Tong's face flashed with embarrassment. That seemed to be their only piece of clothing, and because the figures of several people were too good, many maids' clothes could not be worn, so they wore maid costumes. What a mistake! I actually forgot to ask Yuner to buy clothes for them, but fortunately, Yuner didn't have much, but a lot of maid costumes, and there were all kinds of them. When she bought so many maid costumes, I complained about it, but now it seems that it is a good habit to prepare for a rainy day. But I'll still tell Yuner about it tomorrow. After all, which girl would wear the same clothes all day long? Nangguang-yun, whose closet is full of maid costumes, seeing Wu Tong's reaction, Douluo smiled, and then looked at Miracle Shizuka, who was leaning on Wu Tong. Seeing Miracle Shizuka's look of giving benefits but not knowing it at all, Douluo shook his head helplessly, and then said, "Teacher Shizuka, please come down quickly. Your husband has just come back and must be tired. Don't disturb him anymore." No, I want to hug you, you are so bad, you bullied me the most the day before yesterday, I don't want to listen to you, I don't want to come down. When Shizuka Miracle heard what Akujima Yazi said, she not only did not stop, but hugged Wu Tong even tighter. The pair of mountain peaks were also pressed into a set of plains by this force. Moreover, as Shizuka Miracle shook her head, the kind of touch that made people blush and heartbeat began to float up and down, left and right, like waves, one after another like a tide. Cool. As expected of a welfare girl, Shizuka Miracle, when it comes to giving out welfare, Wu Tong, would like to call you the best. Feeling the feeling coming from his body, Wu Tong's heart was moved, and his heart couldn't help but get hot. You know, he is a young man who just lost his virginity, and now he is still trying to get a taste of it. Since you took the initiative to deliver it to me, don't blame me for being rude. Thinking of this, the flames of desire gradually emerged in Wu Tong's eyes. It's over. Seeing that Wu Tong's eyes gradually became strange, and even began to be filled with lust, Akujima Yazi's eyes instantly revealed a look of despair. This is the end. I thought I might not have to sleep with him today, but I didn't expect that with this idiot teammate, Miracle Shizuka, I was dragged into this. The boy wailed in his heart, yesterday's injury hasn't healed yet, and it comes again today? No, we have to find Non-Lixiang and Sister Yun, otherwise, with just the two of us, we will be plowed to death by this wild bull, right? Chapter 220 Pink Knight, Zhu's Huking in Training. Thinking of this, Douluo Yazi did not resist anymore. After all, she could not escape. So Douluo Yazi took out the mobile phone that Nangguang-yun sent her yesterday and opened a chat group called Crystal Palace. At this moment, there were only 4 people in the chat group, Nangguang-yun, Non-Lixiang, Jechuan Shizuka and Douluo Yazi. All 4 of them were women taken in by Wu Tong. Looking at the signs of the other 2 people online, Douluo Yazi edited a text message and sent it to the group. Then, he turned off his phone, looked directly at Wu Tong's lustful eyes and gradually went up to her. On the other side. Hey, Sister Yun, it seems that Yazi sent a message in the group. Non-Lixiang was wearing a black and white maid outfit, and was cleaning the room on the 3rd floor with Nangguang-yun. This is the room that Non-Lixiang and the others chose today, and the 3 of them will live here in the future. Nangguang-yun, who was helping to tidy up the room for the 3 of them, heard Non-Lixiang's voice and said with a rather strange look, Sister Lixiang, I have said it many times, I am not older than you, just call me Yuner or Xiaoyan, haha, sorry, Yuner, the aura you exude is so strong, I always feel that you are the one older than me, I can't help but call you sister, Non-Lixiang laughed. Alice, by the way, Sister Lixiang, what did the boy say? Nangguang-yun sighed, and then stopped caring about Non-Lixiang's words, and asked about the message sent by the boy. Wait a minute, Non-Lixiang was relieved to see that Nangguang-yun didn't care. After hearing Nangguang-yun's question, she replied casually and turned to look at the mobile phone in her hand. But after just one glance, Non-Lixiang's face changed drastically. It was because the message was written in detail about the boy's distress signal. Dushima Yazi, my husband is back, you two hurry up and help, we two will hold on for a while, it's over, that inexhaustible cow is back, is my field going to be plowed to pieces? Damn, my injuries haven't healed yet. What's wrong? Nangguang-yun saw the change in Non-Lixiang's face and couldn't help asking. Her cell phone was not with her, but in her room, so she didn't know the news about Yazi. Yuner, you can see for yourself, with a bitter smile, Non-Lixiang turned the screen of her cell phone to Nangguang-yun. Nangguang-yun looked at it and his face flushed. Damn, the young master is such a bad guy, he just came back and wanted to do the kind of thing. After seeing the news, the two looked at each other, not knowing what to say, and could only look at each other in silence. After a while, Nangguang-yun murmured in a mosquito-like voice. Then, let's go. Yan Lixiang didn't refuse. After all, they both had some expectations for this kind of thing. After all, one is in his 30s and is as fierce as a wolf, while the other is a royal sister who has just tasted meat. In fact, both of them are fascinated by the feeling. The reason why they feel shy and embarrassed is entirely because of their physical endurance. But I believe that with the help of my sisters this time, I will definitely be able to fight with him. The two thought so, but their steps were not slow at all. Soon, Nan Lixiang and Yang Guangyun came to the highest floor of the tree house, the 10th floor. Wu Tong's exclusive room. When they walked to the door, their steps suddenly stopped. Listening to the lingering voices coming from the room, the faces of the two seemed to be dripping with blood, and they looked like the sunset at dusk, which was intoxicating. After a moment of silence, Nan Lixiang and Yang Guangyun looked at each other, and then slowly walked in. Master Wu Tong. Before the two finished talking, their bodies flew into the air and were dragged into the room. With two exclamations, the two also joined the battlefield, just when Wu Tong was immersed in the gentle countryside. There was a person in Shrek Academy who couldn't sleep at the same moment. After being let go by Wu Tong, the Shrek group, who were still frightened, immediately ran back after helping Oscar absorb the phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake. Working overtime along the way, not daring to waste any time, the Shrek group, who were rushing madly, finally returned to Shrek Academy before the night was completely dark. At this moment, it was midnight. After returning, due to fatigue and fear, the other people in Shrek fell asleep. However, in a forest in the back mountain of Shrek, there were still people who were training persistently. The bright moon was hanging high. In the forest in the back mountain, a purple figure was flashing. Under the sharp arc that ignored the physical conventions from time to time, the agile and beautiful figure moved. Nearly 100 large trees that required 3 people to surround also exploded one after another. Then, she was pulled away by the bright purple shadow that flashed like a flash of a flower and then dissipated into mist, and turned into countless fragments. Zhu's Huking, who was jumping in the air, let out a delicate cry, and her body was already flashing with dazzling light from 3 soul rings. The 3rd soul ring suddenly lit up, and under her soul power, countless dim shadows appeared, and in less than half a second, they rushed towards the tree stumps scattered in all directions. Then the 1st and 2nd soul rings lit up, and the nether shadow clone cooperated with the nether stab's joint soul skills, making the entire training ground seem to be sprinkled with a purple meteor shower, leaving a dazzling light mark. When Zhu's Huking landed, 20 or 30 piercing explosions also roared, forming several short and loud noises that made the atmosphere tremble. After Zhu's Huking landed, her makeup was revealed. She was still wearing the tight-fitting battlesuit with a black-gray base and a dark purple base that she wore in the Xingdao Great Forest. Her round and big breasts that were about to burst the armor and were about to burst out of her clothes looked even more firm and large under the influence of the corset, and swayed slightly with her rapid breathing. Her whole body exuded an aura of keeping strangers away and full of fighting spirit, which formed a strong contrast with her cold and beautiful young appearance. In this forest, together with the moonlight, it formed a picturesque scenery. It's still not enough, I need to become stronger. Zhu's Huking looked at the messy forest in front of her, but her heart did not relax because of this terrifying destructive power. On the contrary, this scene reminded her of the scene in the afternoon when she was powerless in front of Wu Tong. The loss and sadness of facing a strong enemy and being unable to protect her friends eroded her heart all the time, making this ghost spirit cat unable to sleep all night. Chapter 221, The Duke's Housekeeper from Xingluo, Uncle Fu. Even in this short break, Zhu's Huking did not waste a single minute and began to review today's experience, hoping to gain some experience from it. But when she recalled what Nami had said to her this afternoon, she could not continue with her review. Leaving, looking at the Shrek Academy at the foot of the mountain behind her, it was actually a small village in a dilapidated village. Zhu's Huking pondered, the light in her eyes flickered, and she recalled her experience of coming to this academy in a trance. Pictures after pictures began to flash through her mind like a revolving lantern, and some details that she had forgotten were gradually presented clearly in her mind. The lustful and cowardly Daimyo Bei, regardless of his own safety, flared to Shrek and live a life of debauchery, and the romantic deeds of Daimyo Bei that she had heard before coming to Shrek. The lustful Ma Hongjin, a brothel phoenix, often mixed in romantic places. Although he said it was because of his martial spirit, his nature was no different. And Oscar, the guy who rushed up to Ning Rongrong and showed his courtesy when she first arrived. He said that it was love at first sight, but it was hard not to think that it was because of Ning Rongrong's background. After all, as the saying goes, all love at first sight is a kind of lust. This is just the students, and the teachers are even more difficult to describe. Li Yusong cheated the registration fee, Zhao Wuji was impulsive and irritable, and Flanders was greedy and stingy. All the teachers have more or less character flaws. And the so-called school rules made Zhu Zhuking even more difficult to understand. Not daring to cause trouble is mediocre? Which school would teach students such things? Who would have nothing to do and take the initiative to provoke others? Aren't you afraid of provoking someone you can't afford to offend? The key is that Daimyo Bei and others still think that such a ridiculous school rule is normal, which is a bit interesting. If Shrek Academy does not have the ability to distort people's hearts, then it can only mean one thing, that is, Daimyo Bei and the other two are not normal. And the most important point is that this academy has no way to make herself stronger quickly. What Flanders said about helping her become stronger is completely nonsense. There is not even a simulated training environment in the academy. In this way, how can she catch up with her sister and survive in that cruel struggle? The more Zhu Zhuking recalled, the more she felt that this academy was no different from what Nami said. At the same time, Zhu Zhuking was more and more disappointed with her fiancé Daimyo Bei. Although Daimyo Bei left her, she didn't blame Daimyo Bei. After all, under the increasingly desperate feeling of powerlessness, Zhu Zhuking could understand Daimyo Bei's desire to escape. To be honest, she had that thought, but it didn't work. However, after Daimyo Bei escaped, he not only did not work hard to practice, but completely gave up and indulged himself, which made Zhu Zhuking unable to forgive. Daimyo Bei would not be unaware of the consequences of not working hard to practice. The final result would not only cost his own life, but also Zhu Zhuking's life. But Daimyo Bei still did it without hesitation, which made Zhu Zhuking hard to forgive. Daimyo Bei simply didn't take her seriously. Thinking of this, Zhu Zhuking's eyes turned cold, and her heart was completely determined. Then let's leave. After saying that, Zhu Zhuking's usual vigorous style made her not intend to waste any more time. Zhu Zhuking, who had made up her mind to leave, immediately set off and walked down the mountain, ready to pack up and leave the academy. Unexpectedly, just halfway through, Zhu Zhuking noticed that something was wrong with the surrounding environment. The vigilance trained by years of assassination and pursuit made Zhu Zhuking alert and looked around vigilantly. At the same time, 3 soul rings gradually emerged behind Zhu Zhuking, and the soul power on her body also agitated. The whole person was like a cheetah ready to attack at any time. After a few seconds, Zhu Zhuking's eyes were like lightning, and they swept towards a big tree not far away. Although she couldn't see, her sixth sense, which she had honed through years of life and death crises, made her feel that there was someone there, looking at her. "Who is it? Come out!" A round of applause instantly sounded from behind the tree, and then a figure walked out from behind the tree. "Miss Sen, it's been a long time since we last met. I didn't expect your senses are still so sharp." The figure walked towards Zhu Zhuking with a smile on his face while applauding and praising. Swish, swish, swish. The figure's steps were slow, but the speed was incredibly fast. In the blink of an eye, after leaving a line of afterimages in the air, it came in front of Zhu Zhuking. Uncle Fufu, looking at the old and familiar figure in front of her, Zhu Zhuking's eyes did not have the slightest joy, but gradually revealed a look of despair. She knew this person. No, it should be said that it was difficult for her not to know this person. Uncle Fu, the chief steward of the Netherworld Duke's mansion, has no way to verify his real name. Since she was born, she has always called this old man Uncle Fu. Over time, Zhu Zhuking no longer asked Uncle Fu's name. Moreover, as the chief steward of the Netherworld Duke's mansion, Uncle Fu's strength is naturally unfathomable. According to some gossips, Uncle Fu's strength should have been cultivated to the level of Soul Douluo. This kind of strength will be greatly favored in any force. If he is willing to submit to the royal family, he can even obtain the noble honor of hereditary earl with this strength. Of course, these things are not important. The important thing is that Zhu Zhuking remembers very clearly that before she left the Netherworld Duke's mansion, Uncle Fu had always had close contacts with Zhu Zhuiyan. In this case, is he here now, listening to Zhu Zhuiyan's request and coming to kill himself? Zhu Zhuking never thought that she could fight against a Soul Douluo strong man, and she couldn't help but despair in her heart. It seems that I am going to die soon? The thought was like lightning, and a spark of thought exploded in an instant. Zhu Zhuking looked at the figure in front of him, smiled bitterly with a pale face, and then asked, "Uncle Fu, are you here to kill me?" "No, no, no, I dare not attack you. I am here to tell you a good news." When Uncle Fu heard Zhu Xiuqing's words, he immediately waved his hands in fear, as if he was afraid that Zhu Xiuqing would misunderstand, and hurriedly stated his purpose. "Good news? For me, is there really any good news?" Chapter 222 Zhu Xiuqing leaves Shrek. Seeing Fu Bo's look, Zhu Xiuqing was relieved even though she was confused. As far as she knew, Fu Bo had never lied, so as long as he said it, there was no need to doubt its authenticity. Since Fu Bo would not lie, then if he said he would not kill her, then he would not kill her, so Zhu Xiuqing gradually relaxed. "Of course, this is really good news for you, Miss Sen." Fu Bo was relieved to see Zhu Xiuqing relaxed. After all, he was afraid that this girl would not be able to get over it and would commit suicide directly, so he made it clear at the beginning. "Congratulations, Miss Sen. His Majesty has issued an order to cancel your engagement with the third prince, which means that you are free now," Fu Bo said with a smile. But Zhu Xiuqing did not mean to be happy at all. She had lived independently for so long, and she had long understood a truth, that is, it is better to rely on herself than on others. As the saying goes, all the gifts of fate are secretly marked with a price. If you don't get something through your own efforts, then it must be accompanied by a certain price. "Oh, freedom? That's really good news," Zhu Xiuqing sneered, and then asked, "Then I wonder who your Majesty plans to re-betroth me to." Zhu Xiuqing had long experienced the cold-bloodedness of the Xingluo royal family. She clearly understood that if they wanted the Xingluo royal family to give up something, they would definitely have a deeper plot for it. And the reason for canceling the engagement, Zhu Xiuqing also naturally guessed, it was nothing more than planning to sell her at a higher price. As expected, "You are the third young lady, you are really smart." Fu Bo seemed to have not heard Zhu Xiuqing's sarcasm, and even smiled and praised. Then he answered the question, "Third young lady, do you know Mr. Wu Tong?" "Wu Tong? Of course, I have met him once." As soon as Fu Bo said this, Zhu Xiuqing immediately thought of the handsome young man who was like a god and a devil, handsome and elegant, whom she met today. Yeah, Uncle Fu didn't react at first. After a while, he came to his senses and immediately looked at Zhu Xiuqing with fanatical eyes. "Miss Sen, you said you have met Mr. Wu Tong? How does he look? Is he as handsome as the legend says? Does he have the unique temperament of a scholar?" Stop. First of all, Wu Tong is not an old man. He seems to be about the same age as me. Secondly, what does what you said have to do with Wu Tong? Zhu Xiuqing didn't expect that Uncle Fu was actually a fan of Wu Tong. This fanatical expression made Zhu Xiuqing even think of the fans of Xianshu Girls Group. She had seen the performance of Xianshu Girls Group. When the Xianshu Girls Group appeared, the fans under the stage also had this expression, fanatical and obsessed, and even wanted to swallow up the Xianshu Girls Group. But now it seems that Wu Tong is more charming. Among his fans, there are even old men like Uncle Fu. It's unbelievable. Now Zhu Xiuqing can be said to have seen the influence of Wu Tong. However, Zhu Xiuqing was not in the mood to explain these things to Uncle Fu. The main point at the moment was to first figure out the ins and outs of this matter. "Sorry, Miss Sen, I lost my composure." Hearing Zhu Xiuqing's words, Uncle Fu realized his loss of composure, and quickly tidied up his appearance and apologized to Zhu Xiuqing. "The fact is that this is what happened." Explanation of the Xingluo plan. Is this the Xingluo Empire's plan? It's really a good plan. After listening to the Xingluo royal family's plan, Zhu Xiuqing's eyes flashed with a hint of sarcasm. Especially this plan, it was thought up by that Davis. Alice. Uncle Fu sighed and said nothing. These things were not something he could comment on, and he had already said everything he should say. Next, it depends on Zhu Xiuqing's choice. "Okay, I agree. Now I'll go back and prepare, and then I'll go back with you." Zhu Xiuqing thought for a while, and finally decided to follow the Xingluo Empire's plan. This is not because Zhu Xiuqing gave in, but for some reasons. First, she wanted to find Nami, the girl who reminded her to escape from the Sea of Suffering, her first friend, who is now at Wu Tong's place. If she went there, she might be able to see her often in the future. Second, she could get away from Daimyo Bay. She knew very well that if she did not agree to seduce Wu Tong, the so-called cancellation of the engagement would immediately become a joke. After the memories and thoughts just now, she was tired of this hypocrite who was inconsistent with her appearance, and she was eager to cancel the engagement with Daimyo Bay. so that she could take this opportunity to completely get rid of Daimyo Bei. Third, it was because of Wu Tong. In fact, Zhu Huqing did not have much opinion about Wu Tong. She even had a yearning for this wise man who was famous all over the continent. In addition, after seeing him today, Zhu Huqing was attracted to Wu Tong. And love, as the old saying goes, begins with appearance, falls into talent, and is loyal to character. Wu Tong could meet all three requirements, so he could be said to be the Prince Charming in the hearts of every young girl. Even Zhu Huqing was no exception. She had a good impression of Wu Tong for a long time, so she did not reject this arrangement. Great, Miss Sen, let's go. Uncle Fu was overjoyed when he heard the decision made by Zhu Huqing. Since Zhu Huqing agreed, he, as the messenger, could also get some rewards from the royal family, which was a considerable reward. And if we hurry now, we can arrive the day after tomorrow. By then, Mr. Wu Tong's academy will start school soon. Miss Sen, you can just leave with the other ladies. Hearing Uncle Fu's words, Zhu Huqing could not deny it. Then she took advantage of the night to return to her dormitory and packed up all her things. Then she followed Uncle Fu to leave Shrek Academy and headed towards the Xingluo Empire overnight. In Shrek Academy, without anyone knowing, the members of their academy returned to the three people at the beginning of the school year, not one more, not one less. It was really a cause for celebration. It was really a cause for celebration. The sun was setting deep in the Afterglow Canyon. After Wu Tong got up from his gentle state, he went straight to the island in the middle of the lake. Looking at the island in front of him, the extremely luxurious and unique treasure land constructed by the three magnificent views of the yin-yang eye of ice and fire, the ancient golden tree, and the lake of life. Chapter 223 The meaning of Feng Shui patterns, the cycle of life. Continued from the last chapter, Wu Tong couldn't help but smacked his lips, and said to himself in surprise, I didn't expect it. I originally planned to bring back the golden tree today, but I didn't expect to bring it back yesterday. But this is good. In this way, after bringing the villagers here later, there will be nothing to do today, then let's go there later. After all, so many years have passed, there is no need to be too anxious, Wu Tong said while admiring the three treasures he brought back, the ancient golden tree, the yin-yang eye of ice and fire, and the lake of life. But why do I feel that this doesn't seem to be safe? Looking at the completely defenseless treasures in front of him, Wu Tong frowned, and immediately had a plan in his mind. Intelligence brain, give me a Feng Shui layout plan, and deduce some arrays, such as mazes, killing arrays, defense arrays, and spirit gathering arrays. Give me a copy of each. Yes, Master, the new task generation is detected to be successful, and the deduction is being completed. Congratulations to the Master for obtaining new knowledge. Feng Shui Xian Luan Zhen Dao Zhenji, not bad, it has the taste of heaven-defying comprehension. Hearing the notification from the intelligent brain, Wu Tong was in a good mood and did not hesitate to praise. Transmit those two data to me. Looking at the awkward scenery in front of him, Wu Tong said anxiously. Yes, Master, the transmission is being transmitted successfully. As the voice of the intelligent brain fell, two pieces of information instantly appeared in Wu Tong's mind. Feng Shui Xianlu, exploring dragon veins, determining Feng Shui, measuring fortune, gathering wealth, and destroying fortune. Countless Feng Shui knowledge. True explanation of the Dao of formation, gathering spirit formation, wind blade formation, blazing flame formation, illusion sound formation, bewitching soul formation, chaotic square formation, countless trapping formations, killing formations, illusion formations, and other formations. All this knowledge turned into tight and surged into Wu Tong's mind. Gathering spirit formation, Huiyun formation, absolute boundary formation. The golden ancient tree that can gather life force, the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire that promote plant growth, the lake of life that retains life force. 3 lives rotate, and the cycle never ends. Wonderful, I didn't expect it could be changed like this. While checking the tedious and complicated knowledge in his mind, Wu Tong looked at the layout he had casually placed with a look of disdain. In his heart, he kept deducing the Feng Shui pattern and formation placement that were in line with the 3 treasures. As a descendant of the Yellow Emperor, Wu Tong still recognized Feng Shui in his heart. After all, as the saying goes, 1 is fate, 2 is luck, 3 is Feng Shui, 4 is accumulating good deeds, and 5 is reading. Feng Shui can be ranked after fate, so you can imagine how much its influence means to the descendants of the Yellow Emperor. Not to mention that according to the records in the Feng Shui records, a good Feng Shui pattern can help increase the effects of these three treasures several times. With this as motivation, Wu Tong was naturally very concerned about the layout of the Feng Shui pattern. A few minutes later, with the help of the intelligent brain, Wu Tong successfully deduced a perfect Feng Shui pattern. Moreover, this perfect Feng Shui pattern can also be linked with a formation, so that the entire Feng Shui pattern and the formation are integrated, which can be said to be as solid as a rock. Then let's start a big fight, looking at the Feng Shui pattern and formation distribution that have been designed in his mind. Looking at the messy arrangement in front of him that has no meaning at all, Wu Tong couldn't wait to say. Then, Wu Tong took out a large number of collapse energy crystals from the imaginary space, and the intelligent brain controlled the crystals to convert energy, transforming their energy properties from violent collapse energy to more gentle natural forces. Not long after, a pile of collapse energy, the nature of natural forces, is more like the aura in other worlds, so perhaps now, this pile of crystals condensed by natural forces can be called spiritual stones. A pile of spirit stones were placed in front of Wu Tong, waiting for Wu Tong's arrangement. While the intelligent brain was helping to condense the spirit stones, Wu Tong did not slack off and began to refine the foundation of the formation plate. The formation without the formation plate is a one-time formation. Once it is arranged, it cannot be moved. Only the formation with the formation plate can be deployed at any time. However, these two formations have their own advantages and disadvantages. The formation that is directly arranged can be better transformed in the future because it does not need to be moved. More high-quality materials can be integrated to make the formation stronger. However, if the formation in the formation plate wants to be transformed, it is not so simple, because the formation plate is integrated. If you want to make it better, you can only melt it and then recarve it. The formation that Wu Tong is going to arrange this time is the formation that is deployed by the formation plate. After all, the academy will definitely not be like this in the future. After the world is upgraded, Wu Tong will definitely upgrade this academy. At that time, the fixed formation will become an obstacle. Fortunately, it was made into a formation plate at one time, so that it can be operated when the position is moved. What's more, the array plates can also be connected through layout, so that countless array plates can be connected, and the array will become stronger. At this moment, Wu Tong looked at the pile of array plates and spirit stones in front of him, and he was very satisfied. Then, his eyes moved to the scene in front of him. Everything is ready, just get started. The dividing line between arranging the Feng Shui pattern and the array, it was close to noon. When the sun slowly rose above his head, Wu Tong finally finished everything. Looking at the excellent Feng Shui situation in front of him, Wu Tong nodded with satisfaction. The scenery in front of Wu Tong had changed its style. The emerald green lake of life was sparkling, as calm as a mirror, reflecting the blue sky, giving people a sense of tranquility from the heart. Moreover, the lake also exudes infinite life force, nourishing all the life around it. On the small island in the center of the lake, the golden ancient tree is located in the center of the island, waving golden light and huge life force. However, Wu Tong placed the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire near the ancient golden tree, surrounding it, nourishing the ancient golden tree while also playing a certain defensive role. Thus, the Feng Shui pattern, the cycle of life with the ancient golden tree as the core and extending to the periphery was formed. This layout is very sophisticated. The lake of life nourishes the ancient golden tree and the precious plants near the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire. The yin-yang eyes of ice and fire protect and nourish the ancient golden tree. The ancient golden tree releases its life force, replenishes the consumption of the lake of life, and nourishes the herbs near the yin-yang eyes of ice and fire. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 224 Chef Jin in a Pink Apron. In this way, the three of them support each other, promote each other, and the Feng Shui pattern of endless reincarnation, like a perpetual motion machine, gradually began to operate on its own. After Wu Tong arranged the Feng Shui treasure land of the cycle of life, he naturally would not forget the relevant protective measures. The dozens of array plates that were just made were not wasted. Wu-Tong distributed them around the island, covering the entire island. These array plates divided the island into dozens of areas. The maze area, the illusion area, the killing area, and the defense area. Moreover, the positions of these array plates are not fixed, but follow the trajectory of a large array, changing their positions everywhere. In other words, the arrays in each area may appear in other areas. Therefore, those who want to explore the areas of each array and sneak in have to think too much. After all, this trajectory is completely unpredictable. Once you get into it by mistake, you can only pray that you are lucky enough not to break into the killing area. Only then may there be a chance of survival. At the same time, these array plates also form a huge spirit-gathering array with the arrangement of arrays, which can gather huge natural forces, provide conditions for cultivation for the people on the island, nourish the creatures on the island, and can also be used to supply energy for other arrays. After all, once the spirit-gathering array is in operation, it can draw energy from nature on its own and no longer rely on the energy supply of spirit stones. The role of those spirit stones is only to activate the array and use them as backup hidden energy. After the spirit-gathering array is activated, spirit stones are no longer needed. If someone thinks that the array can be destroyed by destroying the spirit stones, Wu-Tong can only say that he thinks too much. In this way, dozens of arrays turned the entire island into an unbreakable, solid copper wall. Wu-Tong can confidently say that in this world, no one can enter this lake island without his consent, even those so-called gods. Very good, in this way, it will be foolproof. Wu-Tong looked at the copper wall in front of him, nodded with satisfaction, and then took out his mobile phone, ready to explain this matter to others, so that no one would accidentally enter it and get hurt. After taking out his phone, Wu-Tong casually opened the school's management chat group and made an announcement about the incident. School management group, Feng Qi Wu-Tong, announcement, regarding the renovation of the lake island in the college, please inform others as follows. Before entering the lake island, you need to come to me to get a pass to avoid accidental injury. After seeing this, the teachers had no objection. After all, although the lake island was a scenic spot before, it had become the foundation of the college when the three treasures were integrated. How could the foundation be easily shown to others? So a group of Valkyries who had been transferred to teachers immediately expressed their understanding and quickly began to reply. Valkyrie teacher number 1, received. Valkyrie teacher number 2, received. Valkyrie teacher number 3, received. A series of received messages instantly filled the screen. Seeing this, Wu-Tong sighed helplessly and then turned off his phone. After closing the campus management chat group and forwarding the message to other groups, Wu-Tong stopped what he was doing. At this moment, Wu-Tong's stomach made a protesting sound. Hearing this sound, Wu-Tong looked up at the sun, and then suddenly woke up. Is it noon already? Then go back and eat quickly. Let's go to the cafeteria today and try Master G's cooking skills. After eating Master G's grilled fish yesterday, Wu-Tong was very much looking forward to Master G's cooking skills. In the wild, where there are not enough kitchen utensils and seasonings, such delicious grilled fish can be made, so wouldn't the food made in the academy be even more delicious? While thinking, Wu-Tong walked slowly towards the cafeteria. In fact, with Wu-Tong's current level of strength, he would not be hungry even if he didn't eat, but Wu-Tong didn't want to give up the feeling of tasting delicious food. After all, his creed is, only food and beauty cannot be let down. So Wu-Tong has never used the power in his body to provide himself with a supply of needs. Therefore, Wu-Tong's stomach will be hungry like ordinary people. But I guess Wu-Tong should be happy about this kind of thing. It was noon. The sun was hanging high in the sky, and the sunlight shone through the gaps in the leaves onto the ground, forming mottled light and shadows. Although the school was not open yet, the beautiful figures walking around had already brought some popularity to this originally somewhat deserted campus. In the cafeteria, Kaienji and other chefs began to prepare lunch. Although the school had no students yet, it had more than 1,500 female Valkyries as teachers, so the chefs in the cafeteria still had to prepare lunch. Therefore, at this time, the cafeteria began to emit curling smoke, and at the same time, the aroma of cooking also enveloped the entire college. However, although it was a school cafeteria, Wu-Tong was not like some schools on the ancestral star in his previous life, which created all kinds of cafeteria farces in order to be cheap. The chefs that Wu-Tong found were all people with superb cooking skills or food-related martial spirits. Moreover, These people had all gone through character tests and were a group of trustworthy chefs. Not only were they very good at cooking, but their character was also good. Apart from anything else, at least there won't be strange dishes like rat head and duck neck soup. Wu Tong walked slowly to the canteen in front of the college, not far from the teaching building and dormitory building. As soon as he walked here, the aroma of food hied him, which made Wu Tong's appetite whetted. Master Ji, I'm here to eat. After arriving at the door, Wu Tong pushed the door open. The first thing he saw when he entered the door was Jin Ji, who was wearing a pink apron. Next to her stood Alicia and her 11 good friends. Boss Wu Tong, here. Seeing Wu Tong enter the door, Padua immediately waved to Wu Tong. I'm here. Wu Tong also smiled and said. It must be said that whenever you are in a good mood, seeing a cat that is still alive and smiling at you cheerfully will definitely make you feel better. Are you guys coming to eat too? It's really rare that you can come at the same time. Walking in front of Alicia and others, Wu Tong said with a slightly surprised tone. After all, the biological clocks of this group of people are very strange. Apart from anything else, he often sees scientists like Wei Weiwei who forget to eat because of their research. Chapter 225, Fun Lover Alicia. Continued from the last chapter, seeing 13 people with different biological clocks gathered together, Wu Tong would naturally feel very surprised. Hey, I actually called everyone here. Alicia heard Wu Tong's question and said proudly. I want to show you the little apron I prepared for Kyanji. How about it? Cute, right? I worked hard on it, I made it myself. Wu Tong tried to suppress his smile and tried not to look at Kyanji's new apron, because he was afraid that he would laugh out loud. When he saw Kyanji wearing a pink apron when watching the Golden Courtyard before, he wanted to laugh. He thought that after being influenced by the Golden Courtyard, he would not want to laugh so much when he saw it again. But Wu Tong still overestimated himself. After personally contacting Kyanji, Wu Tong's understanding of Kyanji can be said to be a step up. After seeing this hot-tempered, irritable guy wearing an apron that was incompatible with him, this sense of disharmony made the matter more funny. Now Wu Tong can't help laughing whenever he sees Kyanji. The same situation happened to the others. Everyone's thoughts surprisingly reached a consensus at this moment. They couldn't help but have a unified thought. Alicia, how much do you like pink things? I picked it myself, huh? After saying that, Alicia heard Wu Tong's question and blinked her eyes, as if she was stumped by Wu Tong's question. But who is Alicia? She is a social expert and quickly responded to Wu Tong's question. Then she tapped her lips with her index finger and said shyly, although I really want to make it for Kyanji myself, Miss Fairy can't do everything, right? I can't make it, so I can only find one for Kyanji myself. Although it's not made by me, it contains my full heart. Haha, what heart? You clearly just want to see Kyanji wearing a pink apron. Mebius showed no mercy to Alicia and directly exposed Alicia's sinister intentions. Mebius was not surprised by this kind of thing. After all, she would not feel strange no matter what the fun people did. But as the most loyal black fan leader of Alicia, Mebius did not want her to live so happily. How could it be, Dr. Mebius? By the way, the little skirt I gave you also contains my feelings, but you have never worn it once. Oh, I am so sad. After being exposed by Mebius, Alicia's body stiffened, and then hurriedly denied it, and began to use a clumsy topic diversion method to change the topic. Mebius sneered and said nothing. As an old friend who had known each other for many years, she knew that the communication with Alicia must not be in depth. Otherwise, this pink fat woman will pull your thoughts to the same realm, and then tease you with her rich experience. What's more, that pink little skirt contains her feelings. Maybe, but it is definitely not a good intention. After all, what bad intentions can a fun person have? She just wants to laugh at you. Shut up, it's too noisy. This is a place to eat. Eat if you want to, otherwise get out. Kyanji saw this and didn't want to let the topic continue, so he interrupted and roared. After roaring, Kyanji stood up and walked towards the kitchen, but his back looked like he was running away. XN, everyone looked at each other in bewilderment. Hey, why did Kyanji run away? I wanted to ask him how he felt about wearing this apron. Alicia looked at Kyanji's back with regret. How? Didn't you think that he just didn't want to talk to you anymore, so he left so fast? Mebius rolled his eyes and looked at Alicia with disgust. How is it possible? Who doesn't like talking to the beautiful fairy lady? Alicia blinked and showed a confident smile. XN hearing this, no one said anything more, but showed a polite smile to Alicia. Facts have proved that when people are speechless to the extreme, they will really laugh. Sister Ali, can we eat? I'm so hungry, Pato asked while holding his stomach. Okay, let's eat, everyone. Remember to finish it all. This is specially made by Kyanji for everyone. Alicia pointed to the table beside her, which was now filled with various delicious dishes with good color, fragrance and taste. Braised lamb chops, roasted whole lamb, tomato beef brisket, stir-fried beef with green onions, boiled cabbage, ants climbing trees, braised chicken, Boda jumping over the wall, 3 fresh vegetables, stewed chicken soup, Westlake beef soup. Don't worry, Sister Ali, we will definitely finish it, but Brother G actually made so much. Looking at the full table of dishes, Pato tried to hold back the saliva that was about to flow out, and said in disbelief. It's not that these things can't be eaten up. After all, everyone present is a fusion warrior. They consume a lot of energy every day, so they naturally need to replenish a lot. Therefore, fusion warriors are generally big eaters, and eating all these is just a piece of cake. What shocked her was that Kyanji actually made so many meals, and they were all specially prepared for them, which made Pato very moved. When should I start making this to make it well? Brother G, you are so gentle, I cry to death. Kyanji, is it possible that I am not the only one doing it? Pato was very moved, but she didn't stop her hands and ran to the dining table. Looking at the large table of dishes on the table, Wu Tong and others didn't waste any more time. After all, the food would not taste good if it got cold, so they sat down one by one. Eat. As everyone sat down one by one, Kyanji also came over with the last dish, Kyanji's secret grilled fish. After putting it on the table, the battlefield on the dining table was instantly unfolded. Obviously, the rule of not talking while eating and not talking while sleeping does not apply to Hyuho Yingji, because with Alicia here, she will never let people's mouths idle. Wow, this is delicious. Eden, try it. Alicia, don't you have it? Why are you stealing it from me? Hey, Dr. Mobius, I'm tasting it for you. How can you say it's stealing? Little Nami, try this. You probably haven't eaten it before. Obviously, this is a very happy lunch. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.